had.
Oh my God. You have to turn the sound down. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to start over and I'm going to be calm. Thank you for coming. And Linda, I was very excited when I popped over to do something on StreamYard, and there you were. So thank you for being here. And by the way, just as someone who loves animals, I appreciate that you do the rescue work that you do. We have Czar, the German Shepherd, who we didn't rescue, but was a rescue to somebody else. And I know I've told the story where Czar was restrained by barbed wire when he was a puppy and kept in very small area. So I would rescue every dog I could find if I had a place for him. Catherine, hello to you in Quartzsite. I wish I was there. Please say hello to Homer. I really wish I was there. I miss it. I'm one of the people who fell in love with Quartzsite. I think it's because I fell in love with the atmosphere of people. So, yeah. And Nate, and I really appreciate you were here early too. Thank you so much. All right. And I don't think you heard, but I just had my niece just moved back from Maryland. And I know that's not too far from Maine, but I'm assuming you have cold weather too. All right, Charlotte, Travel RV Grandma, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And then Kaylee. Nate is a really sweet guy. Nate is somebody, so if you are a moderator, someone could please go drop Nate's channel for me, please. Since I know he's been here to live streams before, but you may not know who he is. I don't know. And by the way, if Kaylee, if you want to be busy and you want to drop links for the friends that we know we have, I would appreciate it so much. All right. Because I'm very happy. I'm very happy y'all are here. And there's hubby Richard. It got kind of dropped, that whole thing of what's next on your channel got dropped in my own lap a couple of days ago, and we'll talk about that. And there is my sister Priscilla. Hello, is the show not on yet? Well, it's on now. I thought I had a little extra time. And I went to the bathroom. I got myself some coffee. I'm not sure I'm going to need it, but all right. Let's go down here a little further. Ava Potterfield. Oh, again, another wonderful channel. So I'm sure everybody here knows each other, but if you do not, please write the names down and go to their channels. And if Kaylee, if you want to drop her channel as well, I would so appreciate it. Got the audio fixed. Thrifty Angela. Again, a great channel. Angela does a lot of different things, and I really appreciate you coming along, Angela, and hanging out with us. And there we go, quiet listener, Victoria May. So happy you're here, because you're one of my first people. You're one of the first people that really followed us, and Thrifty Angela as well. I just so appreciate that there are people who did that. Let's see if I'm missing anybody yet. How to garden. See, that's an important channel for me. Very important channel for me, because even though I grew up with a father who was a gardener, and here on this property where I live, that was my father's, was my family home, my father had a garden all the time. We were never forced to garden. Not that anybody could have forced me and my little sister to garden if we didn't want to. By the way, Priscilla, that would be Priscilla. We were not big into that. I regret that deeply. So I'm new to a degree of that. Camping Therapy, welcome, welcome. So glad you're here, Doreen. And again, I know everybody knows each other here. I just want to say to my little sister, Priscilla, Doreen is the one who has the channel where she goes to a lot of meetups with different groups of campers that are, what's the right word? I'm wanting to say antique. And some of them are antique, but retro, and they've refurbished them, and they're just wonderful. And I've showed her channel to you before. So I wanted you to know that's the lady who has that channel. All right. Have a garden, Northwoods RV Live. So thank you so much for coming. So Northwoods RV Life is really... This is kind of going to be an emotional live stream today because we are making some changes. And I believe they're all changes for the good. But Northwoods RV Life did my logo and my original logo and my banner just out of the kindness of his heart. And I know I'm not the only person you've done that for, but you don't know how much I appreciate that because I didn't have the slightest idea of how to do anything. I now know how to do some things, but you got me, I was on your show once and you pointed out that I didn't have a banner, didn't have a logo, and really that my channel needed that. And so I went and I found the little car that I love, that little car, and you turned it into something that made sense to me. And you made a beautiful banner. So, I really need to say thank you because that was a big deal. That helped me feel like I was a channel. That helped me feel like I was doing something. So thank you so much. I did not have the slightest clue that I might be teary in this, but I am. All right. I will pull myself together. Weekend RVing, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it very, very much. Another channel that I felt connected to since the beginning. TCG fam, thank you for coming. Always here for us. Just making sure I don't want to miss anybody because I want to get on with it and let you know what's going on. Kaylee, thank you for putting the words in my mouth and in my head. Vintage, adorable. These RVs are not even campers, trailers. We used to have one when I was a kid. My parents bought one, and God knows if we still had it, we could turn it into something really cute. All right. Just checking, gonna scroll through, see if I missed anybody. All right, so I can get started. All right. Well, I want to say welcome one more time to everybody for coming. I appreciate it. If you have the slightest inkling to share this out to your own base of people, I would appreciate it. Working on growing my channel. So I'm going to pull up some notes. You won't be able to see, but I'll know they're there. I want to let you know that working with me today and from now on is going to be my son, Alex. He is he's got an amazing brain to think kind of outside of the box and to think in a critical way. And so he came to me, so he's basically going to help me run my channel because I have been lost. I've been lost. I've kind of staggered and fell a little bit, and I've had some ups and downs, as y'all know, the physical stuff that's happened, and that has been a massive challenge, and it will still be a challenge, by the way. No matter what is happening new with my channel, that will always be a barrier for me, and I know that those who have any physical problems understand that the plans that I make they will always be qualified by how I wake up in the morning and how my day goes, the early part of my day. Because that is never going to go away. That issue, and the disability that comes along with it is never going to go away. So that said, my son, Alex, came to me the other night, just out of the blue, and he said he had been reading some stuff on YouTube, and that he did not feel that I was fulfilling the potential of my channel. All right, so after I was offended briefly, we had a nice discussion. It made sense. So I'm going to show you something here. We have, and so he said it was just, what can you do? How can I help you? Can I help you change that? Can I help you grow that? Grow your channel. Growing my channel, well, I know everybody. I wanted to get my initial 1,000, and I wanted to get monetized, just to see if I could. I had no challenges in my life, and so I wanted to do it. I did it, and I really do enjoy it. And I'm actually enjoying a little bit more of the editing. I enjoy editing once I started. It's just getting to it. So I'm going to share here just a little bit of our channel. That was the wrong thing. So we have grown. We have grown steadily and at a slow pace, but at a pace that I think it works for me specifically, considering my own physical issues and how I feel. If I had actually grown quicker, I would have been in trouble, because I wouldn't have been able. I had, like, for instance, I had channel memberships for a while, but I wasn't able to fulfill what my channel membership said I would be doing. It was a struggle because I was struggling physically. So this just is going back for a year. I'll show you from the very beginning. And this is one of the things I like about how I can look back over all of the things that comes with our channels. Tools, that would be the word. So started off way back here a couple of years ago. In about 2018, I think. 2019. Nope, 2020. There we go, 2020. Started off February 6th, February 4th. There we go. January 4th of 2020, I had 1 subscriber. And then, I picked up speed, got up here, got my first 1,000 in August. So I think it was like 9 months. And then I kind of, I leveled out and I grew a little bit at a time, And then the last year has just been a steady climb. And that's good, because if I hit like some big number right off the bat, I think I would have been overwhelmed and I would have completely shut down, because I would have felt inside, I can't give these people anything. I mean, there's these many, whatever, 1,000 people, I just can't do it. So this has been at times I was like, man, I want to grow bigger, but you have to give people something for that growth. And so I got up here. So now I'm at 1,455. My next goal, as far as growth, I want to get to 2,000. That's not big by any stretch of an imagination of a channel, but my goal is 2,000 subscribers. And because I'm doing something, I'm giving them something that makes them want to come to my channel. So that is, let's see, Lucretia, I remember following you back in the day of only a few one. Yes. I remember my very first live stream. Gary is the one. Okay, so besides Bob, for me, it's Bob Wells, Gary. Oh my gosh, the man out of Florida who had so great live streams, beautiful channel.
Tiger King?
Tiger King? I don't think so. So, yes, in my first live stream, I literally up into the camera, onto the floor. It was a mess. And so you were there from the beginning too. Thank you, because that's what we need. Making goals. So making goals. So my son said to me basically what I said. You are not. You didn't believe I was fulfilling my potential as a person. And then he asked me, "Do you just want to have a channel just to have fun?" Well, sure. Yes. First and foremost, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I want to have fun on my channel. If my channel is something that's going to keep me occupied in a positive way, then that's what I'd like to do. That doesn't mean, it's always going to be great. But yeah, I want to have fun. But do I want it to be more than that potentially? Yes, I do. And I had to think about that. I've had a couple of years to think about that. And I was never really sure if I wanted it to be more than just to pass some time. He said, Mom, you have almost a master's degree. I went to college late in life. I was 50. I could never have done it before that. So I went to college, got a bachelor's degree in family and human services. And then a professor told me, because I always thought I was stupid. I'm not saying that, just saying that. I thought I was stupid and that I couldn't learn. As it turned out, that's not true. I'm actually capable of learning. And a professor said, "Why don't you get a master's, go for your master's degree?" And it's like, what are you talking about? Do you know I'm a recovering alcoholic? Do you know I've had a bumpy road in life that I've made for myself? And it didn't matter. All that mattered is that he saw the potential. And I got accepted into 2 master's degree programs, and that was without having one of the things you're supposed to have, math. I'm just saying, I apparently was smarter than I thought, and did good work, by the way. And so I started in public policy, a public policy master's degree program. And then I was done with my first year, and I already had my first back surgery in that first year of school. And then I had to leave because I was having a massively big surgery, and I didn't get to finish. And so, but there's a reason it was recommended I do public policy, because I have a strong passion. As it turns out, I have a strong passion for my family, for my community, for my country, and for the world at large, by the way. And so it's like all of that went away. It's like I'd never done it. And the fact of the matter is, no, I really do want to there's more that I want to do. All right. So kind of stalled out. I attract 2 niches. Van life, travel, RV, which, by the way, that is always my base of where my heart is at. When I'm spending a lot of time trying to connect with other channels, watching other channels that are in the prepper community, the preparedness community, or canning or whatever, I miss you guys. I really miss you. And it's hard for me at times, and that's just honest to God's truth. It's very hard for me. You're a comfort. You're like a home. So the travel community is home to me.
Kaylee has a question.
Okay, Kaylee has.
I put it up on the screen.
All right, thank you. I will answer the question. Gotta go to StreamYard though. Backroads Nomad. Well, thank you for coming. I'm so very happy you're here. So Kaylee's question.
Right here.
Richard Lake, did you make the LOL letters? Alex, my son, made the LOL letters. And by the way, hello, Patty. And Cynthia Pollock, thank you for coming. I'm kind of looking at notes, so my face, I'm not looking right at the screen. Well, I'm kind of making sure that I hit all of the things I really need to say before I get too far drift. So I'm connected to two niches, as he put it, two kind of specialized niches: prepping, preparedness, and travel, and RV. all of, all that encompasses, which is both of those encompass a tremendous amount, but it's really limits in some way. And so he felt that was trapping me, that I was kind of trapped. I don't see it that way. That's why I didn't start a whole new channel when I decided to just do prepping, because I think it's more about me as a person. And that's what, in our conversation, he and I kind of came to a conclusion about, is that it's the name of the channel that was kind of the limiting factor of what I was kind of reaching for. I want you to know what you're not going to lose with the changes that I'm going to talk about. You're not going to lose any of the stuff about travel, about RVs. I still see myself in like a Dodge Grand Caravan. Seriously, I watch those when I'm in bed at night and I'm done watching other stuff. I watch like those kind of RV or, van conversions. I love them. Honestly, I do.
And there's nothing wrong with having one and traveling.
That's right.
And then coming home.
Yes. So, and then prepping. I am now very avidly, my son makes fun of me. People in my family, I'm sure, make fun of me, but I do have a bunch of beans and rice. Oh, I have a lot more than that. And it's preparedness, and it paid off. So we had a couple of days with just recently, what was it that happened recently? Oh, we had a really deep cold snap back at the end of November, I think it was, or maybe it was right before Thanksgiving. And we could have very easily lost our utilities. That happened to us a few years back. And for 4 days, we had no heat and we were down in the teens. And so no heat, no lights, blah, blah, blah. Too bad I wasn't a prepper then. And so I was prepared and I felt much better. I was more prepared, not prepared, but I was more prepared. You'd not be losing any of the stuff about the animals. I will be very honest with you. Little Miss Patty Cake Lake, she is on her last leg. We're trying, we're holding out. It's her spine. Her spine has a problem, can't be fixed. And she's 21. Okay. I don't know how much that is in dog years, but it's old. And we love her and we're kind of hanging on to her. I know the day that I will not hang on to her any longer. And that's not the kind of dog mom that I am. But we're so in love with that dog that Richard and I and our whole household here caters to her.
We even got her a harness.
My son even got her a harness that goes through over her back legs and attaches around her neck, but it didn't work for her.
And I wanted to get a wheelchair.
And he wants to get a wheelchair, but this is, it's way more serious. So anyways, Czar the German Shepherd. So you're not going to lose the animals. You're not going to lose Richard, because him and I will still be doing many things together. We're married, if you didn't know.
She did not leave him in Quartzsite.
I did not leave him in Quartzsite. He's not running around there looking for the RV. So we're not losing Richard. I love Richard. I appreciate Richard, the work that he does do, like helping me package meat. He doesn't cook. I don't know what to say. If I die before Richard, I'm trying to teach him some things, because kind of like, I think I'll probably die before him, and I don't want him not to know how to, make a meatloaf. It's not that hard. Okay, so those are the things that you're not going to lose. What you're going to be gaining, first of all, what the channel is going to gain is my ability to be more diverse. I have an education that allows me to incorporate some things in that I've kind of shied away from, because I also know that many people I love and adore on this channel really don't want to see controversial stuff. And that's not how I'm going to approach any of the things I'm going to talk about. It isn't about that my way is the right way and yours is the wrong way. I don't believe that way. Now, I may believe something is right, but I will never say what I believe is right and what you believe is wrong, because that completely, in my opinion, is so anti-American that I don't even know what to say, how to put it any better than that, any more gracefully. But I do plan on using some of what I've learned and the knowledge that I have on how to gain information and research and whatnot. I plan on including more news. Sorry, people. I mean, real news. I used to do a little news thing on Thursdays that was just goofy stuff. That's not going to happen. This is going to be real stuff that's going on. I am extremely interested in all of it. Local, national, international. If it affects me as a human being, and it might affect you, you just might hear about it, okay? That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to shove any particular side down anyone's throat. That's not how I work. That is not what works in communicating with someone to start with. So I'm just going to present certain things sometimes, okay? There might be a video or a live stream connected to a premiere that I think people might want to talk about. We're also going to hear about some financial talk. Richard and I live at or below the poverty level. I'm on disability. Richard is on Social Security and disability, SSI disability, and it's not a lot of money. We live on about $1,472 a month is what we get. So that means we really have to pay attention to preparedness. Occasionally, we even get a food box. I have watched so many people who are struggling financially, with kids mainly, but there's older people too. I'm 61, Richard's 63. Many of us are aging that are living on limited incomes. And I have to get over the sensitivity that occasionally I get a food box, because guess what? My life is very much an open book. I wouldn't have told you all the things about my life that I had if I was not an open book. There's no reason that I need to be ashamed of that fact and not utilize that we struggle financially with how to maybe come up with some options for people. And there's some channels that's their focus, by the way, is one woman, her and her family are very low income, and they get nothing. They get a lot of food boxes. And so she uses that to show you how to cook with what comes in a food box or how to expand it. So we're going to be doing a lot of those kind of things. So talking about budget will be one of them. Here's the other thing. Okay, I'm going to take a drink of coffee first. I'm going to start a segment once a week talking about our founding documents. And you'll know ahead of time, it'll be so if you don't want to hear about it, you don't have to come and listen to it. But I have been astounded at some of the things I've seen on social media. People say they don't have the slightest clue. They don't have the slightest clue about our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, other founding documents that are interesting. When I was young, I had no interest in any of this. When I was in high school and taking history classes, I barely scraped by. It had no connection to me in my mind. This has nothing to do with me, people. Why am I being forced to learn about it? And much of my life reflected that kind of thinking. And then as I got a little older, I started recognizing that history does matter today. And it's imperative that people understand that. So one of the things I'd like to do is once a week talk about, like for instance, do a video about like our First Amendment. I had the good fortune when I was in graduate school, even though I was not in law school, If I had started this at 40, by the way, I would have went to law school and I would have become a constitutional lawyer. That is how much I love the Constitution and what it actually means for me as an American citizen. With all the flaws in America, I believe I'm lucky to be an American citizen. And so to do some background research on that, maybe include some of the way that it's been interpreted by the Supreme Court and how it's applied laws to that. Okay, and I think that that's an important thing because there's people who have no clue. And so to go through all of our amendments, to go through the Constitution, like almost one line at a time, baby. One line at a time. Because guess what? It took me one line at a time, 2 lines, because professors push you along, as you all probably know. A couple lines at a time to figure out what does that mean to me today? Why is it important? So I have a burning passion actually for the Constitution and the other documents. And I feel like I'm being held, I'm holding myself back by how I'm kind of constrained with channel, with the way the channel is set up right now. And that's not anybody's fault but our own. How could we have known? I couldn't have known I was going to want to do some of these things when I first started out. All I was going to do is get a channel, go to Los Angeles and make a left-hand turn and go to Quartzsite. And then I was going to live in my van RV the rest of our life. Okay, I hope somebody's laughing out loud at me because that was the most ridiculous plan and most ironically odd thing for an adult person to think, personally. Because things did not turn out that way. No, I went to Quartzsite, loved it, want to go back, want to continue to go back, want to go spend time in Arizona. And by the way, I also want to have a nice little garden.
Make content about it.
That's right. So that's exactly what we'll be doing. All right. So that's another thing. So our country, how did we get here? And so what my son and I discussed was more refining of a branding. And by the way, I don't actually even know what the word branding means. I know what it looks like. Okay. All I can say is he gets it. Baby boy gets it. And I'm lucky because he has his own.
I went to business school for 5 years.
He has his own channel that he could be doing this to, but he's not that he's not. He's although we're in a partnership, so he's getting something out of it too. So why change? Let's just go back over that. Why change? Why do I want to change? I would like to grow. I would like to not just grow for the numbers. I want to grow. I want to be in community. I want to be in community with people. I work best in community. In my recovery program, I've been in a recovery program, 1 or 2, for the last nearly 40 years. And sober now going on 28 years. So those were opportunities where I had opportunity to spend a lot of time with other people who wanted the same things. And I work well in that setting where I'm working with somebody, where we're talking, we're communicating. And then, to grow in that manner, because that's how I believe it grows best. And then also to help fulfill those aspects of me that I'm feeling like I'm not. And that's nobody's fault but my own. I need to get out of this. My notes. I'm done with my notes. All right. So, back rows. I'm going to kind of go back and look here. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Every American should read and know Black's Law Dictionary. It is what SCOTUS references in the court cases. Okay, good to know that specifically. Enjoy the parks, always, Kaylee. Cynthia, is the channel name changing to? Yes, and we're almost to that point. Branding is an identifier for what you have to offer. That's true. That's true. And then, we all love the parks. I've done so many pop-up lives from parks. I don't even remember. I just want to go back 3. Joy in the parks. Hello. Are you a new friend to me? If you are a new friend, I am so excited you're here. I'm going to have to go back through and look at this later because the name is not familiar to me. And I like to make that connection. Joy, bless life. No system is perfect. We can take good ideas from anywhere. Absolutely, Kaylee. Just quickly scrolling back. I see me. Oh, traveling. Nate Dog. I see me in a small class C. So ours is 25 feet, 24, 25. I'll tell you what. As it turns out, I need a couch. I need a couch, not just. I love Betty Jean. She will always be my first RV love. However, we need a little more room. And so, and preferably a king size bed, but I won't probably ever be able to buy an RV that has a king size bed in it because those are newer ones. But I see that Idaho Hillbilly. Okay. I will take a look at that. So there's things about that I learned. And I'm just scrolling. So sorry, I need to go do, okay. I'm so sorry. I had to pick this time. And I'm so sorry. Branding is a great, Tom's Wild and Wonderful Views. Hello, Tom. Thank you for coming. Very happy you're here. Branding is a great idea. People remember brands more than just a name. Yes, that's true. I've been lucky with my name being Lucretia, and I almost always sign it capitalization, Lucretia. Like if I go to somebody's channel and I make a comment, and it sticks with people. The name sticks with people. All right. And so my son is reminding me that I have a battery. Well, we're only at 45 minutes, friend. So we're changing I'm going to come over to my brand. I'm going to put up here. I'm going to remove.
Before you do that, tell them the letters tie into it.
If you notice so the LOL over here, the new name of the channel is Life of Lucretia. LOL, Life of Lucretia. And that is going to be the new header. It actually has two different kind of colors of peachy peach. I love peach. It's a peach color. And also, I don't have to do that. That's right, Brent. You'll handle all that. The new logo. I will still be using my little caricature that Lance did for me. You want to put up the new? Okay, the new logo this is a work in progress. This here isn't finished. LOL, and then it's going to have my other, the other social media connections, if you will, on it. So it's a calming. It's one of the things. I'm not the most biggest pink girl, if it doesn't surprise you. My little sister was pretty surprised when I said it's a pink. It's kind of pink and peach colors. But thank you, Patty. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. So I really do like it too. My little sister was like, I thought you loved red. Yes, I do love red. I do love red. But red for me is an aggressive color. And I wear red lipstick, okay? So it's not that you're never going to see red. You're not with your, so I'm still going to dress whatever way I want. My basic uniform is my tank top and shorts. And we're coming into tank top and short season. Yeah, I love peach. I love peach too. Make sure you type Butter Channel to the new name so you keep your subscribers. So we will figure out how to do that. That it's definitely, yes, ma'am. We have, so I don't want to lose my subscribers. This is a big, okay, we can probably go. Am I on the screen or not, Brent? Okay, we could take that off. So they've seen that.
I'm trying to think.
All right. So, although that can go up in the corner. All righty, there we go.
New banner?
Yes. No, it's the new.
No, look at the new banner.
Oh, welcome to LOL Life of Lucretia. It's your world. I'm just in it. And that's kind of going to be the tag. I still, those are so hard, but that's true. I mean, I'm just doing my life now, and there's a connection, and I want that connection to stay. I want feedback. I maybe experiment with the letters, maybe a darker pink color. Yeah, so the letters, like I said, that is a work in progress. But if you go to my channel, actually on YouTube, and if you're on a computer, it's much better, because my son just explained to me this afternoon that what you see on a computer monitor is not the same thing that you see on a phone. I did not realize that. I didn't realize it. So you won't see the whole header. Corey's, what Corey did for me, Northwoods RV Life, the header that he did for me, I never really paid attention on my phone because I did the work. I don't not work. Only thing I work on my phone for my channel or any of my social media is shorts. And I, videotape. But now I have a camera that I'm learning to use, so I'll be doing that too. Burn up the rows and prepping. May I make a suggestion about your logo design? Absolutely. You've been doing this longer than my son and I put together years. Go ahead, please. That's what I want. I want people to give feedback. Maybe period after each letter, so it's obvious that a special abbreviation, not what we usually use for. So absolutely, Kaylee. And last night I told him we were going to put it at the end, and I said, "Oh, that's great. Do you know what a troll is, Alex?" And
that's
so
why we did LOL colon.
That's why he did LOL colon, but maybe putting a right in between a little dot.
We'll look into it.
All right. So yes, please do give us some ideas. Maybe a period after each letter. Yep. All right. So that's going to be the change. So the new name, LOL Life of Lucretia.
It's going to be mainly your life.
Yeah.
And what's going on. And that includes traveling in an RV. It includes prepping. So it encompasses everything.
Okay, Corey, I have a lot of thoughts and questions, but far too many for a live stream chat. Okay, you know what? I think you have my phone number.
We have a new email.
Oh, I have a new email address too.
It's on the...
There we go. No, actually, Brent, Alex, it is Life of Lucretia. The email, I just double checked it.
It is there. I put it.
Well, the LOL isn't part of my email.
Did you read the header?
New email, lifeoflucretia@gmail.com.
I don't know why you thought it was LOL.
Oh, okay. All right. So, and I'm pretty sure you still have my phone number, but if you'd like me to call you, because you are a professional. So you're one of those people, you and Backroads both, you're professionals at this, and I trust you and implicitly. Burning up the roads and prepping. What is your email? So
it's on the header. I mean, it's on the...
It's lifeoflucretia@gmail.com. Very simple. Send an email, new email address, lifeoflucretia@gmail.com. And you don't have to put any of the caps in it, really. And by the way, for those of you who were annoyed by my constant capitalization, my son is working on it. I'm a capitalizer. I know that it offends some people. It's not my intent. My capitalization is about intensity more than I'm screaming at you. But I know. But I still will always probably sign my name as capital Lucretia. Capital letters Lucretia. So
the LOL right there.
Oh, and behind me, if you see right back here, the wooden LOL, that's a little Easter egg. Patty, I think it's very exciting too. I'm very excited. I was okay. Yeah, I've got your contact information back, Rose, and I will shoot you an email after this is over. And Corey, same to you. I'll put my phone number if you want to call me, because actually my phone number is different. So I will send my new phone number. I do capitalization because it makes sentences and strings of words easier to read and remember. Well, not, sometimes it really does. It really does. And it gets attention. Sometimes it gets bad attention. I know it really has annoyed people at times. Or call me. Okay, I'll check. I'm pretty sure I do. All right. So that's the gist of it. We're not going anywhere except a little broader and a little more focused at times. Okay, so it's not like you won't still get some odd live streams or whatever, all the imperfections, but I have some deep, passionate interests that I want to include, and I think there's many people who would like to see that. And by the way, anybody who wants to fight on my channel, like, I want to have people on. I want to also do discussions with people on live streams. And I don't want to have, what I don't want to have is hair pulling matches. I don't want to be the MMA going on. I am very, I've had to learn how to try and calm my I'm right and you're wrong down, because trust me, I was born with that. It is in my DNA. I'm right, you're wrong. But Priscilla, my phone number is different. Not for you, but no, you have my current phone number, but I haven't talked with Corey from Northwoods RV Life in a long time, so he would have my old phone number, and Backroads would have my old phone number too. So no, I always keep you up to date, even when we're arguing. No, my family very much 6 girls. My parents had 6 daughters, like 3 different families almost. We have older sisters, almost old enough to be my mom. Definitely old enough to be my little sister Priscilla's mom. I know, Backroads, oh gosh. I'm going to put, and here's another fun thing. So a fun thing, I'm going to get a map that's going to go on, and when I told my son I wanted to put I like the dream catcher thing back there. It's wonderful. I'm going to get a map. I'm going to put it back there, and I'm going to put it on like a cork board, and then I'm going to use that map for, like, tell us what part of the world you're in. We're going to use it. We're going to find fun ways to use it. And
we're going to use pins with different colors.
Yes, pins with different
colors. For
where
you've been.
For where I've been, too.
And then pins from where all of your subscribers are. Yes. That would be, if you want to share. I mean, not your street address. God knows I've actually screwed I've really screwed up with relative to my privacy. And so I also want to thank people for following along with the last month, checking out the video and the live stream with the X, the X in it, because the things that are, I actually know my BFF, who I wish she would come and watch my live streams, but her son is a MMA fighter, and he's a heavyweight MMA fighter. He has a school here, and he works with children. He's getting out of it himself because he has his own kids and doesn't want to get killed. J&N Travels, welcome to you. So glad you guys are here. Very happy. So I'm just excited to start doing some new things. I'm feeling energized again. Please always keep in mind, I may make plans for something, but because of the physical issue that I have with my spine, it may fall through. I may not be able to do it. My mornings, I can't really do anything. It's just the fact of the matter is the pain is so significant that I just can't. I used to get myself around and be gone doing things every single morning of the week almost. And that is no longer something I could do even if I wanted to. I mean, I want to. I'd love to be that person again, but I can't go back in time now and be physically different. So anyways, that's what's going on. Does anybody have any questions or comments now that already hasn't been said? I'm just excited. I want to feel excited about it again. I felt a little bit discouraged because I wasn't able to get out and travel. We need to get our RV back here from my nephew, Joy in the Park. Thank you for the prayers. No, I haven't, but you suggesting we do? I will watch it. I will watch that. I will, Patty, always inform you. I love you. She's one of my local friends. A friend on the ground, boots on the ground friend who knows me pretty well. When I say my temperament can be less than calm and managed and controlled, Miss Patty Woods has definitely seen that other side that can get extremely intense. We're just putting it in a nice way. All right. Yeah, I'll watch them. Okay, thank you, Kaylee. So
it's her second channel.
Second channel. Okay, please. I will come back and I'll get these. Well, when I go to bed, or I'm gonna have to lay down after this because my spine gets compressed when I sit for too long, and it causes pain. So, I will check it out at that time. And I know I've got a couple of new channels in here that popped in. So anyway, that's what's happening. I'm excited. Life of Lucretia. I'm going to have to remember LOL, Life of Lucretia. Because
it's a play on laugh out loud because you like to have fun. And
yes. Thank you, Kaylee, for dropping that link for RV Odd Squad. They're an interesting channel. Okay, so they're a very interesting couple. I love that what they have, how they came through, traveling, getting an RV saved their marriage, and our, Richard and I did fine in our little RV. However, if I want to spend months and months at a time in an RV, I really need to find something that is a little what I'm thinking. And I know everybody says don't do this because we'll only ever probably be able to afford an older used RV. And that is, thank you, Nate. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, sweetie. That's very kind of you. Is a slide out because it's more like a little apartment. Yes, back roads, we do. Great minds think alike. A slide out, and we don't have to have a king size bed. We didn't mind. We haven't minded in this RV that we have. Oh, they're kind of oversized twin beds, and it was actually they were very comfortable in and of themselves. They had really good. Charlie Grace, thank you so much for coming. So just in a nutshell, I'm changing. We are rebranding, and my son is helping me. And I'm rebranding. My new name is LOL, Life of Lucretia. The reason we're kind of changing things up is because I want to expand into some other things, such as I could have done it, I think, with my last channel name, but for instance, I want to do once a week
a conversation. I'm going to do a video about one of our about our Bill of Rights. You know, starting with number one. What's your, you know, the First Amendment, and doing some background research. As I said earlier, I had the good fortune when I was boondocking with Boomer. Hello there, Lance. When I was in graduate school, even though I wasn't in law school, any graduate courses that were 500 or above, if it wasn't closed to non-specific, like law school classes closed to just law students, you could take them. So I took the one I fell in love with was constitutional law. Fell in love with the Constitution. Honest, it's sad because I was 51 years old. It's sad it took me 51 years to get to the point that I understood some things that I didn't know before 51. And that's a fact. So I'm going to be doing it once a week on that, and maybe throwing in some of the SCOTUS things that have make it law. So our rights, then, as we all know, we have rights, get challenged by one person or another, or one group or another, and then end up at the Supreme Court. And then there are certain cases that help them decide what's what. So I'm not taking a stand on it. There are some things I've taken stands on. People know my opinion, and I've given them on here respectfully. I will never allow battles on my channel. I just can't. Even if I love you, I'm not going to allow people to battle. I can't, because I want it to be safe. And my YouTube. So it's LOL : Life of Lucretia. That's what the LOL is for. Life of Lucretia. That was my son. I could have done without that, but he believes that will be good for branding. I don't know. I'm not really sure about branding, but I trust the little bit I know. We're going to still see the animals. We're still going to, you know, go to places, do things, travel. And so the new name is LOL: Life of Lucretia. And he did a little Easter egg back here, the LOL in wood. Those are blocks. Those are blocks. And we'll see what happens. I may lose a bunch of people. I don't know. We're going to try to figure out how to keep Butterp in there somewhere. So it'll probably be in tagging, because I don't want to lose people. That's not my intention or my goal. I just recently acquired my constitutional law degree from Hillsdale College. You did? Oh, lucky you. You will be a good person to have a conversation with.
I know I will.
Joy Bless Life. So do you believe it's against our constitutional rights for NPS to charge a permit as a small YouTube channel that makes pennies for $3 for a video burner? Okay, so talking about the National Park Service. So what I have to do, so here's how I look at that. First and foremost is okay, that's a federal, national parks are managed by the federal government as such. I don't like that they charge, because those parks belong to everybody. But I don't have a legal opinion on it. I don't like it, and I don't think they should. Because here's the deal. If somebody who's very capable, like an able-bodied person, unlike me, goes into the national parks in a place where I can't get to and does a video that makes me want to go to national parks and put money into those communities, and in certain national parks you have to pay fees to get into them, then that video technically is bringing me into that park. Or if I go into a park and I do a video of how I, as a other abled person, am able to go in there, whether it be with my walker, or if I do any extensive anything, it will have to be in an electric wheelchair. I will never be able to have the strength in my legs ever again to be able to hike. I can do a little walking out and about with my walker. But no, I will have. So if
if I go in there and I do a video, and if and I put it out here and it gets somebody to want to go to that park and go spend money there, you know, camp, all the things that people do, that's just BS. It's just another way to rob Peter. Now, is that the fact? No, it's not. It's just an opinion. And if you guys, if somebody else thinks it's okay, that's all right. I get that, and I may be wrong. I have to read up on this now that I'm going to do this kind of thing. There's some I need to catch up. I knew that that was going to be in the works. I haven't paid close attention to that because of all the like life and death things that have been going on recently. Priscilla, what are the reasons they charge a fee? So does anybody know what the actual reasoning is? Because I'm telling you what, $3 is nothing compared to what it was going to be. You were going to, people who were going to go into a national park and do a video, if you were going to put it on YouTube and make money off of it, then you were going to have to pay like fees, just like a movie set goes to a national park. They have to get a license, a permit. I can't wait to see that. Really. Can't wait to see this happen. I will be challenging the National Park Service this coming summer with filming videos. I'm not paying an extortion fee nor asking permission to film freely. I agree. So we are in agreement on that. Joy Bless Life, Live Back Roads. I think fees are for videographers. I think fees. So if you put it on YouTube and you make money off of it, Kaylee, you're considered a professional, and you may very well get, you will be charged. I mean, so there was going to be a bigger fee, I think it was $150.
It's $300.
$300? Okay. I knew it was,
That's
okay.
how much the fee is.
It's $300, not $3?
It's $300.
Oh, wow. $300. All right. Well, definitely Backroads. We'll be following you closely.
I wonder what the fine is.
Yeah. Do you know what the fine is, Backroads? So, yep. Doreen, Kaylee, because we're monetized, we are considered commercial. All about greed. Yes, ma'am. The law is not very clear. So the cool thing, here's what I love, Nomad Hatters. Sorry I'm late. Well, thank you for coming anyways. This will be my niece-in-law, likely. Peggy. If there's any little kids there with you, I want to say hi to them. I just let them know hi, grandnieces and nephews. Patty Woods, I know producers of films pay for these yet, because the producers will earn money for filming there. I guess national parks are not making a distinction. No, they're not. They're not. Everybody across the board, if you're a YouTuber, you have to pay the fee. Yes, no, right. And I'd like to know, so I understand that, Priscilla, and I agree with that. I mean, I'm really curious what they're going to use those fees for. I'm sure they're going to, thank you, Kaylee, for dropping that information. I'm sure they're going to use that, some of that money maybe to do work in them. I don't know, but it's a national park and it belongs to everybody. That's all I can say. There are small, non-monetized YouTubers that are still required per MPS to pay the fee if they're going to post the videos on any social media platform. Wow. So even non-monetized. If you're a monetized YouTuber. So Doreen, Backroads is saying.
It's because there's many channels that make much more than monetized channels off of brand deals, off of other things. So that's why they're not focusing on just monetized channels.
Okay.
They're focusing on everybody because not everybody's monetized.
Right. Well, Joy,
But people still make money off of merch and
yes,
all that other stuff.
yes. So okay, so this thing, so what you're saying, yes, absolutely. And here's what I love. I love that. So here in Oregon, Peter Dell, hello, thank you for coming. Where did you go? Here.
I clicked on it at the same
Oh,
time.
you're
you did.
clicking on it. Oh,
I
so
told you I'm doing this.
my son is doing that. I kept wondering, why do these keep going away from me? He's got complete access to the channel now. And so, all right. And Cass Love Tarot, find your passion. I'm finding my passion. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. So it's you and Billy. All right. Any kids there? Non-monetized parties of 2 do not need to acquire a permit on the site. Okay. If you're going to make money from the video, Doreen says, all right. So I get it. So the deal is that what I love about our country, and thank God my son-in-law is not up. I'm going to eventually have him on, and we're going to talk about things, but it's probably going to have to be on a different platform. So these are student ideas, idiots that do stupid things on videos that does damage. Oh yeah. It's a sad thing. Well, thank you, Lance. I see you love my channel. I'm excited about it. I think we're still going to do fun things. I'm feeling better. I'm learning to live with the pain that I have. And so what I'm trying to do is transition myself back into more full-time YouTubing like I did in the beginning.
Boondocking with Boomer.
Oh, it's awesome. Yes. Okay, go back to Peter Dell. I have a question to ask. I have a question to ask. One of my videos in my analysis, e.g. video traffic, where it says channel pages search, I'm getting a traffic source saying YouTube advertising. I'm confused. What is this? Does somebody else have an answer? Because I don't.
I believe that the YouTube advertising is trying to get him to advertise on YouTube.
So that makes sense. So
because I've been getting those.
Are you monetized, Peter? Peter Dell, are you monetized? Keep scrolling down so we can see. I love because my understanding is that YouTube is putting commercials in non-monetized content. Yes, Lance, it's my son in the background. He is the one.
Hi, Lance.
He's the one who's helping me make this transition. He's the one who brought it to my attention that I was falling short of my potential. And it wasn't that. It was that I just wasn't using all the things that I'm interested in because I was kind of just in this one place. I think just having it LOL Life of Lucretia is going to open that door for me. Not that I'm going to leave anything behind, because if I ever had to drop stuff, it would never be RV and van life stuff. Ever, never. That's what I love. And that's just what I really love you guys. I wish I bought a new RV, Lance. No, I did not buy a new RV, but I want a new RV. No, what I would like is a different RV. I'd like a different RV that has a slide out, that has a place where I can rip out the place where you sit, the dinette, and put in a desk system and have a couch. And I wanted a slide out of some sort so that there's more room. It's more like a small little apartment. Ours is fine. It works. I will still travel with it until I get something else someday. However, I need to win the lottery because I need a slide out. So that's what you probably caught. New comments below.
Look at Peter Dell's comment on the screen.
Okay, Peter Dell. Another thing is YouTube pays really poor. I get about 16,000 views per month, yet only earn about $70 to me. With the effort I put in, it's not worth it.
yeah, they take 40%. It sucks really bad. Unfortunately, it's the best game in town at this point. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to do. I will tell you, I try to find gratitude, and I'll look at that in just a second. Backroads comment. I am someone who was taught to look at gratitude, and I just had to tell somebody else that I love very much, who's going through a horrible time right now, that they need to start a gratitude list, a God box and a gratitude list. Because when all I'm doing is I'm seeing the negative and stuff, trust me, that's when I'm in bed for days at a time, not willing to do anything but watch grizzly bear videos and cry to myself about why I'm not getting to Alaska. And so, what I like about YouTube is it gives me a nobody an opportunity to talk to you and you and you and you, and for us to make a connection. And I don't have to pay anything up front. Okay. I have nothing out of pocket. Where else can the average person just get on the air, open to whomever finds you or you find, and do something like this? Potentially start a business.
Twitch,
TikTok. My son says TikTok.
Instagram.
I
could go on. Snapchat.
All right. This is different. This is different.
Yes, YouTube is more interpersonal.
Yes. YouTube is more interpersonal. So I appreciate that. I appreciate to have a place I can come to and learn how to be whatever it is I am. Okay. All right. Backroads Nomad. A Yellowstone Park Ranger I spoke with in December stated that anyone filming must have a permit when filming.
Yeah.
And if they can prove they're not making dollars, then the permit fee may be refunded. Yeah. Well, I don't make money at this time, really. I'm not making much. So, even though I'm monetized, I'm not doing this for the big bucks I'm making. Did I miss a question or comment by Peter? Oh, Peter Dell, yeah. YouTube, we talked about that. YouTube pays CPM about $16. My PPM is only $6. How is that 50% YouTube take majority of the advertising dollars? Peter, I am the wrong person to ask about that. So if somebody understands that, I'm going
From what I understand, YouTube takes 70% of the advertising revenue.
See, now that I'm going to look at my channel makeover a little differently, I probably will look at the business end of this a little differently.
I'll be showing you a little bit on it.
My son is fairly competent at this stuff, and he will help me figure it out. And by the way, just as a little aside, I do like making little short things for TikTok. When he forced me into TikTok. He did. He forced me into TikTok.
You're welcome.
And it's actually kind of fun. It's just boom, boom. All right. YouTube Partner Program is a ripoff. It's better to be directly viewer supported. Keep 100% of your profits instead of giving it 45% to YouTube. Okay. So when you say directly supported, are you talking
PayPal, Cash
App? Okay. Gotcha.
Also Patreon, I believe.
No, Patreon takes less. All right, so when I first started out on this little journey, I jumped into it. I got a Patreon. I got very quickly. I got after I got to 1,000, I got membership, and and then I wasn't able to fulfill everything because of the stuff that I deal with my disability and pain.
On screen.
YouTube keeps 70% of ad revenue and 40%. Oh my gosh. 70. How is it fair that short get just about the same money, yet we the longer video and heaps of effort, yet the shorts are easy to make without effort? That's fairly true. Except I did just learn how to do jump
cuts. Shorts should get paid half. I would agree with you on that. I would agree with you on that. And I don't know how. I don't know why. I really need to get someone on. Maybe that's one of the things. Backroads. Anybody who has a real intricate understanding of the financial workings of how this works would be good to have on here. Backroads says right here, park rangers rarely abide by instituted laws. It's up to you to prove them wrong in court, which is federal court when involved in national parks. Absolutely. Richard says, hi, Backroads. So what I was going to say, one of the things I love about our country and about our judicial system, as screwed up as it is, I love that. So for instance, here, once something affects you, like here in Oregon, I live in Oregon, and the state of Oregon, by a small majority, passed these really interesting gun laws recently. Now, I told everybody, don't get upset because these are not constitutional. And by the way, they will get challenged at the federal level. So don't get hysterical. I did go get a different gun, although I don't have it in my possession yet. Excuse me if you don't like guns, but anyway, so, and that's exactly what's happened. And there's other states that it's happened in, and federal judges are finding in the favor of the gun owners. So anyways,
Backroads says hi.
So somebody now like Backroads going to get harmed. There has to be harm in some way. Otherwise you don't have standing. So if I just don't like the law, I can't necessarily just go to court and sue the federal government because I don't have harm done to me. As a YouTuber, if I go to federal land and get a fine because I have filmed there without a license, whatever, I have standing. I'm harmed by it. So I got to have harm in some way. And so Backroads is going to take that upon himself to fix. Thank you, Backroads, in advance, because I think it's unconstitutional too. The land belongs to everybody. But I'll tell you what they can do is when they find that somebody has done something really stupid, like what happens in Yellowstone, they need to those people need to get massive fines. I'm sorry. I do believe that money hurts some of us. I'm not going to do something that's going to cause me a big fine because I can't afford the fine. Okay. There's people who don't understand that. Like, I know that there's these videos that were out of Yellowstone about a year ago or in the last 2 years where this man was very drunk. He was harassing the wildlife, the moose, the whatever, the elk. And he, almost got hurt. He was actually, him and his friend were taking a tour through Yellowstone. And the next week he was going into treatment and he was just dead drunk the whole time and doing what dead drunk people do. And by the way, if I was still a drinking person, I would have probably done stupid stuff too. But I would need to get a big fine. So the people that do stupid shit in parks of any sort need to get into trouble, and it needs to hurt. It needs to hurt some legally. A fine that matches the problem.
Peter says,
I have a list of the lowest paying ad networks. There are about 30,000 ad networks on AdSense. That is a really cool, Peter. We need to talk about you coming on and let's talking about YouTube and how it pays. AdSense, can you put that back, please, Alex? I've blocked the low paying ad networks and my earnings increased. Oh, you can do that? I see. You just taught me something. We need to talk. I would love it if you'd send me an email. I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. Maybe talk about doing an interview about this because I don't have the slightest idea. My son does. One of the reasons we're going to implement, one of the things that I'm going to do is to talk about finance some. And I'm on the low end of finance. I'm one of those people at or below the poverty level. And so I have to live on a very tight budget. Well, my son was telling me that when finance is a part of your channel, that you get paid more. I'm like, well, heck, if I'd have known that, I'd have talked more about it. And because it does affect me, and I do have to use financial. I have to have financial prowess to a degree. So I would love to know more about that, and I'm sure many people on here would also. Yes, teach us that, Peter Dell. RV Grandma. The RV Odd Couple said they set up a Rumble channel because they won't be censored there, like on YouTube when talking political type issues. So I have, if I'm going to watch that video, and if they have been censored, I know that there's people that do. There's people who won't even mention that they're so afraid they won't mention the word coronavirus, the 2 words coronavirus. But if it's not like I'm going to go on here and say something completely obnoxiously stupid about it. I had it, and I took the medication to get over it. And I mean, I shared that in a video. I was not censored for that. And there's some other things. So I mentioned I have a weapon. I am someone, I know a big channel. He uses the word, he says projectile equipment. People are afraid of the words. And if honestly, so if I got censored because I said I have a gun, I would be very upset. I have a Rumble account, but I really don't know anything about it. I know that it is supposedly someplace you get less censored, and that's a good thing. And although I'll tell you something, that's 100% true, Nate. You cannot. I know. I have this conversation with people on a regular basis. Although so the key to that is figuring out who's the person who can't or shouldn't. Like just recently, I posted on my Facebook page, there was a ruling, I believe by a federal judge, that people who have a restraining order against them cannot automatically have their guns taken away, their gun rights. Okay, I understand. As much as that scares me, because there are people who are violent who get a restraining order against them. I mean, really violent, like they're going to kill. I had to do just even 1 day in that court. Okay, when I was doing my family and human services degree, and the director of that part of it, the victims court, said, made it clear that a piece of paper will never stop the people that are really going to kill their person, but you still have to bring it to the attention of the law. So anyways, however, all it is an agreement, in essence, anybody, for the most part, can go get a restraining order. You don't have to have a lot of evidence, okay? Your word can obtain a restraining order. And there are people who have lied about restraining orders. That is not necessarily the majority of the people, but someone's rights get if they're not even convicted of anything, and your Second Amendment gets removed from you. Then when I started thinking about it, not emotionally, but as far as technically speaking, that's true. You're not convicted, and yet you lose your one of your legal rights in this country. So I don't want to be crazy about it, but I that's just kind of what I think about it. So Priscilla, what kind of agreement do YouTubers agree to when setting up their channels? Well, you agree to let YouTube take a lot of your money. Okay, so up front, what I always have understood is 40% of something. 45% of this one thing that they gauge what I make on is taken. 45% off the top. Now, guess though, but apparently there's a deeper, there needs to be deeper understanding for people who are going to do this as a business. It's why, for instance, here's one of the banners that I have. Did you remove it, Brent? Alex?
Which banner?
So I
I
had,
deleted all of your old banners.
he overstepped his bounds. That's a shocker.
No, I did exactly what you want me to do.
Okay, so
Very good,
anyways,
Larry, you gotta move, buddy.
I had a thing, a little banner that went down there that was for a tip jar. If somebody wanted to tip me, they could put it in my PayPal account. And also it's on my about page and whatnot. So anyways, my manager over here has removed it for some reason. We'll have to talk about that. Priscilla, what kind of, okay, so that's what I know, Priscilla. I'm gonna have to back up a little bit. You guys have serious crime problems, but you have incompetent Democrats in power. That's the main problem. Democrats are a joke in politics. So here's the deal, Peter, Dell. So let me see how I can say this. When we call people, okay, I'm a conservative. I'm an in the middle conservative. I am not completely to the right. I am much more, I am in the middle and I lean quite a bit right, but there's some left leaning things too. Okay. I believe people need to have health care. I believe everybody. It shouldn't just be because you have a certain amount of money that you don't die. I believe people have a right to health care. I'm a Republican. I'm registered as a Republican right now, but I'm so unhappy with the Republican Party. I'm probably going to unregister and just be a unaffiliated, and I won't be able to vote in my primary. But when we call people, so I may feel that there is incompetence, but I have to be careful. I'm careful just because I don't want to create. I want people to feel free to talk, you know. And by the way, there's many people who do not feel they're a joke. Okay, and I have. I want to, right, millions and millions of people who don't feel they're a joke. Here in this state, there's things I disagree with tremendously. I passionately disagree. But guess what? I'm like the only conservative in my family. I'm it. I'm the one. And so if I call them stupid, or if I call them incompetent, or if I call them, ignorant, I'm never going to have conversation. And I don't actually believe this about them anyways. Now, that's not that I don't believe there's ignorance and incompetence at the governor's level, but I will just be honest. I work because I used to call people names. I used to characterize people as stupid. I used to characterize people in all kinds of ways, and I didn't win friends. Now, I don't need a lot more friends in my life, but I want to be respected as a human, and so I offer respect to other people. Priscilla, as far as what YouTube considers acceptable speech, and do people agree to it when they sign? Oh, well,
absolutely.
Yes, actually, every time I put a video, okay, so like when I put up a video recently, my most recent video, I have to go through a checklist of things and say that there's not this, and this in it. Or if there is, by the way, some when I get my gun, I'm going to do a video about taking it apart, cleaning it, knowing where each part goes back correctly. And there's a reason for that, because I had bullets in backwards in a thingy that goes inside of the gun. I had them in backwards. The clip. I had them in backwards. Nobody knows how I got that clip in my gun, but I probably forced it in is how. And it was dangerous. And I had no business having that gun under those circumstances. So I've learned a lot about responsibility, and it's not a joke. And but if I got censored today, or my YouTube was shut down right now, my live stream, because I said I have a gun and I'm going to do a video on it, I would be really unhappy. Because, yeah, but yes, Priscilla, we do agree to it. You sign up, you're more scrutinized than non-partner channels. Yep, that's true. The Institute for Justice highly recommends checking them out. Donate if you can. Okay. Thank you, Kaylee.
Backrows, AdSense, partner, yes, scan prior to being monetized. If you don't make a video private until YouTube says your video is cleared for monetization, then you lose. So guess what? Now this is very odd. So the last video I did, there were 2 versions of it. And one of them, the reason there was a final version is because the first version, even though I had clicked on for it to be private because I wasn't done editing, like putting in some information and whatnot, and doing some other things with it that I can't think on top of my head right now. But what we all do to videos before we actually put them out for people to see, all of a sudden there's like 30 people who had seen it. I'm like, what? And I took it off, and I eventually took it down because I didn't want people to be confused. So I don't know how that happened. It really bothers me. It is something that's confusing.
Priscilla.
Oh, I'll get to Priscilla in just a second. Make sure you have all your content backed up before you post a video like that. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Well, then, why are people unhappy about the rules they agreed to? Okay. Well, for me, I'll tell you why I'm unhappy.
Because YouTube reserves the right to change the rules at any time without your permission.
Yeah.
That's why people are unhappy, is because they agreed to that, and then YouTube changed the terms as there's agreed to in the agreement.
Yes. So your nephew has read over their licensing stuff very thoroughly. I did not. I just wanted to be licensed. I wanted to be monetized and be on YouTube. Okay. So you know him, and he really has, and so other people have commented on here, and I'm going to have somebody on, so they can change the rules at any time without us knowing that it's changed, by the way. Now, do they have to eventually notify us? I don't know that either. So, no, it doesn't seem fair. Yes, I agreed to it, and I'm glad I agreed to it because, like I said, I wouldn't be on here if it weren't for YouTube. To do more of our own research, see it in writing ourselves. If we operate on assumptions, we're bound to be disappointed. Yes, and I'm not necessarily disappointed. I'm grateful. I said up front, I'm grateful I have a platform to be able to do this. It's fun. Okay, I get to work on some of my skills that I went to school for that I'll never use in a biz, out there in the world. So I get to do it here with you guys. Back rows, Priscilla, because YouTube, oh, there we go. I'm going to go above them to Joy Bless Life. Rumble, you sign your rights to your video. Rumble, you sign your rights to your video if you want to allow it to earn any revenue. Okay, so on Rumble, you also sign away your rights basically as well. Is that what you're saying? They don't notify creators every time they do. Okay. And they do change things quickly. Never sign over the ownership rights to your content to anyone. Agreed? I guess I'm confused why people are unhappy about it. They agreed to the terms and conditions. So, yes. So I can have 2 things be true at one time. On one hand, I'm very happy I get to do this. I am. I like it. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy watching other people's stuff. I like seeing how people are out doing things with their life. Okay, so I do enjoy this opportunity. That doesn't mean that I like the fact that they take as much as they're taking. Duh. I mean, I can have 2 thoughts at one time. I haven't bitched about it a lot, or excuse me, I have not. I haven't.
Life of Lucretia.
I haven't had a lot of negative to say about it, and I really am not per se. I just want to be educated on it. And then, by the way, if I continue to be a YouTube creator, I probably will not gripe about it. Because if I'm agreeing to it, then I'm going to just, but I will know more about what I'm agreeing to. And I can still not like it, right? Okay, so I have an RV. I like it, but I want something better that fits better.
Oh,
You have to read the fine
Peter
print.
has a question.
You can hear those little mouthy things. They are parakeets.
We have 9 of them.
9. My son started out with 2, and then there were a total of 9. Van Life Voyages. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I've been listening and agree with what you're talking about. Always scared to talk about. I want to finish that. Talk about having a firearm. You know, yes, I understand why people are afraid of that. But, you know, I remember, so when we did our trip to Quartzsite 2 years ago, we have never done anything like this before, traveled like that. We're in a smaller Class C, 25-foot Class C, and we didn't plan the trip, by the way. I am like the poster girl for what not to do when you're going to go on the road for the very first time. I didn't even have a map with me. All I knew is I was going to Quartzsite, Arizona. I was going to LA and I'm making a left. I didn't know there's so many ways to get there, okay? And I have it on live streamed almost the whole way there and an entire meltdown over it. So anyways, we were sitting one night we were behind a big boxed food store. And in a California town, in not what appeared to be a great part of town, by the way. And my husband was fine. He took our beagle out for a last walk. I'm sitting there at my table with my protection with me for like another 2 hours after he went to bed and went to sleep, because I peeked through the windows and there was a lot of people with shopping carts at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, rolling around the area. And although I will tell you, we were really close to the wall. We parked right close to a wall, and I felt much better about that because, you know, I just felt better. Richard struggled kind of getting out, but anyways, it's not being afraid, Lucretia. It's no one's business what guns you own. That is what I was taught years ago. That's true. However, it is so. In the RV community, I just say I want to be safe, and I honestly, while I do believe wasp spray, bear spray, a tire iron, you know, there's lots of ways to be safe, and I do believe wasp spray would get somebody back away from you pretty quick. I also have a pepper spray, and I'll tell you when I bought that pepper spray. Okay. Don't quit my channel. I bought that pepper spray. I went to a presidential, what are they called?
Rally.
A presidential rally here in Eugene for Donald Trump. Okay, it wasn't
back when you used to support him.
Yes, I don't care for the man any longer. I'm sorry. I'm not here. That's not what I'm saying. This. So, but I was so scared. Not of them, but because here in the town I live in, it is very well known. It's a very liberal bastion of, we've had a lot of Antifa stuff here. We've had a lot of different, I'm going to use a terminology that's old school terminology. It's not meant to be disrespectful because I love trees too. But, the tree hugger people that will actually put spikes in a tree so that a chainsaw hits it, it kicks back and can kill the person that's got it. They don't want the trees cut down. Okay, so we're well known in this area between Portland and Roseburg, here in the middle on I-5, to have a lot of that kind of protesting. And I know that this town, for the most part, did not like that particular presidential candidate. And so, okay. Okay, thank you very much for that. So I bought a can of pepper spray and put it on my keychain because I was afraid, and I had my walker. I had to have my walker. I went alone. I was by myself. And so I was with my walker and my pepper spray waiting for the protesters. There wasn't hugely protested.
I was protesting.
My son was out protesting though. It's okay. In my family, we get to do those two things. You know, we can have that difference. So anyways, that was good back roads for you to point that out. But I do know there is a channel. There is people who have channels that what they do, they show you the different pew-pews and projectile instruments that they have and how to use them.
Guns.
Okay, but I don't want to get in trouble. Bingo. Advertising our guns is not a good idea. All right, I understand it's not a good. So not good at the level of needing to, being concerned that somebody's going to break in and steal it from me. Of course, yes. But I would really, really not think that's going to happen in this house. And the reason, unless they got something too, it's not going to happen. You should hear this German Shepherd's bark. It's pretty monstrous. He's a 110-pound dog. Yeah. I would get a warning ahead of time. That's what I'm saying.
Obviously.
So you want something better too? I thought that I would love I would, we were younger people. Okay, if we were younger and able-bodied. Richard has disabilities now. I have a disability. So we are not that kind of able-bodied any longer. I would love a full-length bus where I could just make it into a little house. Roy and Becky's Travels, they're going to get a bus, I'm pretty sure, and they're going to make one. And I'm so happy that they have that ability, and I am jealous. Peter Dell, YouTube is hard work, can drive us bonkers at times. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you get the? I put one up here for you to read.
Go ahead and put it back, please. Time for exploring. Oh, hi. Thank you so much for coming, Tim. I believe it's been a while, and I think I still remember your name, sweetie. I believe it's Tim. Tim from Time for Exploring. I hope I'm right. Okay. I never heard of them. Odyssey is another freedom platform. All right. Odyssey. So maybe that's one of the things we can do on this channel is I'll do a little research on freedom channels that give you more flexibility.
Oh, look who's here.
Box Van D. You know what? You're never late. You're never late. Just talking about, so I have changed my channel name, haven't fully changed the direction. I'm just making it a little broader. So the channel name is LOL:Life of Lucretia. And that way I don't feel so guilty. Number one, I feel guilty a lot of times because I'm not burning up the roads right now. And I don't know when I can burn up the roads. I wish I could burn up the roads all the time. However.
You always burning up the roads in your heart.
Oh, I'm always burning up the roads
in your mind.
That would be my son who is helping me kind of make the switch. So, Life of Lucretia is the new name. It's going to be about the same stuff. It's going to be about travel. It's going to be about preparation. It's going to be about cooking, shopping. Financial. I have a short shopping video. I'm actually going to edit and put up this week. It's going to also start including financial stuff. As I said earlier, Richard and I live on a small Social Security and SSI. We live on about less than $1,500 a month. And if we had to pay rent, this house is paid for. It was my father's. Anyways, that's a whole different story. If we had to pay rent, we couldn't pay rent. We would be in trouble, big time. And so we're very lucky to be living here. However, so we're going to still do all those things, but I'm going to include more financial stuff. Occasionally I get a food box. It's not a pleasant thing to go get a food, to say, I'm Lucretia and I have to get a food box sometimes. But guess what? There are millions of people in this world who need to get a food box sometimes. And maybe they're just, fully ashamed to even know that they do. I mean, I did. I was that person. I was very ashamed of it. But it's life. It's my life. And so so we're going to include some things, different things, financial stuff, budgeting, more budgeting stuff, and just learning some more things. You know, this increase in what it's costing us to buy. You know, we got this increase in Social Security and SSI, but it's eaten up by the higher cost of living. I mean, it helped a little bit, but
Where is another stimulus when you need it?
oh, you're so cute.
I mean, come on, Biden. If you want to get reelected, get another stimulus.
Okay, so the parrots. We've already talked about the parrots. Let's see. So,
Oh, look what Van Life Voyages said.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I may come on dressed up sometimes, but my basic uniform is a tank top, shorts, and my walking boots. That's how I'm comfortable, even in the winter. Just the way it is. But I also like to dress up. Let's see. I want to go through this real quick here, and I want to keep you all night.
Look at the screen.
We've gotten a food grocery bag much of the year. We have gotten a food grocery bag.
It's like a box.
Okay. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
a food bag.
So there's a channel I started watching. It's a young woman, and her family is on a very fixed income. And once a week, they go to a food pantry where they have actually a place for the kids to play and kind of hang out with supervision while mom or dad or whatever is going through and getting what it is they need. I mean, if that's a really, and by the way, the kids understand what it is, and they talk about, you know, the gratitude that there's other people in the world willing to help them out. It's unfortunate we live in a world that does not, especially if you're in, like I was injured not on the job. Okay. So let me see how I was going to say this in a way that will make sense easier and quicker. A technicality put me on SSI rather than Social Security disability. A technicality. I had been working I was a realtor actually.
A very good one.
I was just picking up pace. Okay. I was just picking up pace.
8 months in.
You know, sold, let's see, 19 houses.
1.2 million.
I don't remember how much I sold as far as worth, but I sold 19 houses in 8 months. Okay. That's a lot, especially when the closings were in winter. Anyway, so that's just different too. So I would have been making a lot more than I am now. My disability would have been a whole different ball game.
Look what Joy said on the screen.
I agree. You look very pretty. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do very much. I was just contemplating. I was looking at one of my short haircuts, and I'm someone who does Vaseline, but it takes too long to get it to this length, so I'll leave it here for a while, but it will not be here forever. I know I will go back to a shorter cut. I don't know that it'll be super short again, but shorter. Okay, back roads. I see BitChute in here. So Odyssey is another great platform. So is BitChute. Yes, I remember you did give me those, and I did look at those as well. Kaylee, it was a nightmare, but it was fun. I can't wait to go back to courtside again. I didn't get to spend very much time with Dee. I think I visited with Dee twice. And that was it. She came to us one time and we went to her one time. I didn't get to spend time with her. I didn't get to really look around the outskirts of there because we had our RV. And so if y'all know, you don't have something you pull behind, or you are a truck that pulls something. So either a tote or you pull something. We were stuck. And because
the camera just shut off.
Okay, quickly. Hold on.
I kept telling you the battery.
Okay.
camera's plugged in, but it's gonna work.
Okay. So I have to
I'm gonna have to move the camera when I see it.
go to camera.
Mhm.
Let me see. Where's camera? Oh, no. It should be here
Do
in
you need help over
settings.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I see it. It's Logitech.
Yeah.
My camera that I was using shut off. So now I'm using a webcam. And Brent had to, his name is Alex Brent. Brent
I
Alex.
changed my name legally,
He legally changed his name. I still call him
and
Brent.
I am
but he prefers
non-binary.
us. Okay. I'm
So
Brent. Let me not confuse people too much. So we had to switch cameras really quick to the other one. Fairy dust sweep the wild wind. Hello. So glad you're here. So Dee, that's what we're here about. We changed the channel name, Life of Lucretia, LOL Life of Lucretia. Gonna change the branding style a bit, well, completely. And and I felt guilty because I'm not burning up the roads. I felt guilty because I'm not fully a prepper. And so I had to find some way. And then there was also stuff I was not doing that I want to do, which is I want to talk about our world today. Now, people will know up front if that's what the conversation's going to be. Like if it's a video, you'll obviously know. And if it's not something you want to see, that's great. Don't watch it. Don't no feelings hurt. And so I feel better about changing the name so that I don't feel like crappy that I want to be traveling so bad. But I also need to get a garden planted here, which is going to be real interesting. Airy Dust of Peter Dell. Airy Dust, hello. All right,
show
so
the banner again.
huh?
Let's show the banner.
Oh, we're going to show you the banner's going to look like. So if you go to my channel, I would love for you guys to go to my channel, YouTube channel, after this is all over with. While it's still fresh, leave a comment about what you see, if you like it, if you don't like it, what you don't like about it. Doesn't mean it's going to get changed, but I do like this peachy pink color. Flowers. Yeah, there's a little greenery in it. I love it. And that was all my son for the most part. He knows his mom pretty well. Knows me pretty well. All right, so we are heading into 2 hours, and I think I've covered everything, and I really would love to have feedback if you would be so kind as to give me some at the end. You have people who have zero respect at all, only those who identify. Oh, I didn't see it, and I will go back and look and see what I missed, Priscilla. To an old lady nomad. Yes, I'm an old lady. Okay. So where was the disrespect?
Hold on. Look at the screen.
Lucretia, nice decorations behind you. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate that.
There's been a back and forth between Peter Dell and Priscilla. Peter Dell has some interesting thoughts on the Ukraine and other things. So.
Okay, so Priscilla, it's not been threatening. It's fact. Man is man, woman is woman. So, Peter, as a conservative, I have a son who is married to a man, lives under the same roof with me. My son is non-binary. He's a wonderful human being. So is his husband. And by the way, when, he does not mind me talking about this, and I'm just going to nutshell this. When I was 50 years old and I was in college, and one night, 3 o'clock in the morning, my son comes in, tells me he's gay. do you think it wasn't? So it was a difficult. At first, it was difficult for me. I went to school. I still had to go to school. I mean, I still had responsibilities. But now people who know us well were not surprised. But
Dad even just recently said he knew my whole life I was gay.
and so
And you're the only one that did not know.
what I can say is that I can disagree with things. Okay, I don't know what makes some of the differences. I'm not going to pretend that I do. One of my very best friends for most of my life is a gay woman. And by the way, I'm going to tell you something here. When I was in high school, I kissed a girl. I kissed a girl, okay?
You kissed a girl and didn't like it.
That does not mean I'm married to a man. I love my husband. I am very much a heterosexual woman. But some people, it's not that straightforward for them. And I don't know why. And it doesn't make them worse people than me. And so I can't really... There's things that I don't like, by the way. I have issues with some of the LGBTQ stuff, and my son and I have conversations about that. That'll be different video than what we're doing today, though. I will do, because I'm going to be some topic videos as well about what's happening in the world, what's happening locally in my city, in my state. And so it's difficult. I don't want to have people on my channel, visiting my channel and disrespecting other people for whatever the reason. It's just, and I understand for you that may not seem disrespectful, but it is disrespectful. It is your opinion, and you completely have the right to have that opinion. And it's just how we share things is the point. And my little sister is very protective of my son. Very protective. I am too, by the way. I am a mama bear. He may be 33 years old, but he's my baby. He's my baby. All right, so let's go back up through here across the book. Okay, I recently...
I'm putting some comments up really quick.
Oh, can I just look at...
Keep talking.
So Backroad says, I recently went through a border checkpoint. I said to the agent what the current 600 Pennsylvania Avenue, who's allowing tens of thousands of illegals to flood. I get it. Oh, that I get very much. So Yuma, Arizona, their hospital is in implosion. So I wonder, sadly, is it going to take a hospital imploding? Because, so I'll get to Peter in a moment. So is it going to take a hospital imploding because they can't take care of the people there who pay taxes there, who live there? It's their home, because they're having to forced to take care of illegal immigrants. And it is an illegal action still to come across the border illegally. It's not that they're bad people. Some of them are bad people. Some of them are wonderful people. Some of them will become, potential to become great citizens of this country. My immigrant family came from Ireland, Scotland.
Dad's family was illegal.
And so at one point, I think most of us were back. My people came here, probably some of them illegally. Anyway, so, but it pisses me off. It's when I'll say that word again. It does upset me. It's not fair to the community. It's not fair to the doctors. It's not fair to the people who are in the hospital, or the people who have, let's say, a surgery scheduled and they can't get the surgery done because their hospital has been overran, for lack of a better word or phrase, by people they can't just turn out, because they may have some serious things going on too. But in reality, should not be there. So
on screen.
Yeah. Alberta and Stella. Hi, Lucretia.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again. Alberta and Stella, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate that you're here. It's been a long couple hours, but it's all right.
Change channel name.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, we changed our channel name to LOL Life of Lucretia because I'm going to be kind of expanding the channel some and discussing other things and kind of tweaking it a little bit. But we will still do travel stuff. We will still do preparation things. I just felt bad that my channel's name was Burning Up the Roads and Prepping, and I'm not burning up the roads, and I don't know when I'll be burning them up. I mean, I will be doing some traveling again, and I'm not fully a prepper at this point. I'm trying. So, yeah, that's what we were on here today doing, and then just kind of got into another conversation. Oh, back to Priscilla's not been threatening. It's okay. So we already talked about that. Okay. Why can't people have a discussion of differing viewpoints without one of them running away? Well, so back roads. So certain discussions are harder than others for many people. Especially if you love someone or people. In our case, our family, we were raised, my mom, she died. My son is 33. She died when he was 9 months old. My mother comes from Irish and Indian background. And she was raised by an alcoholic father in the fields of California and Arizona. Okay. She was raised more like a Latino, like a Hispanic, than she was like a white girl like me. I'm just going to say the word white girl. Okay. Because I'm very. Okay, she brought those traditions of more of an open, like a very open family, what was considered family, into my raising, and my sister, and we were taught from birth on. There was no differences. Everybody was treated the same. Everybody, if there was somebody who had whatever. So anyways, I don't know if that answers your question. So no, it doesn't answer your question. I'm pretty sure it doesn't answer it for me. I think that there's just some people who just struggle, they're just emotional about it. My sister who left loves my son. So, she helped raise him. When I was still an active alcoholic for a very short period of his life, I had been sober for 12 years. I'd been sober several years, and then I had him. And then at 12 years sober, when he was 5 years old, I relapsed for 6 months and drank. And she helped me in that time with him and spent a tremendous amount of time as a parent from, just because they were close, he was part of their family too. And so she loves him like her own kid. And they can have very big disagreements, but that she's seen the struggle and how, literally in Wyoming, a couple decades back, a young man was hung on the fence for being a gay man. There might have been more to that story. I don't think so. But minorities of all kinds are targeted. Here in Eugene, this town that is a college town, liberal arts college town, pretty good sized college town. My son was at the gas station, and the gas station attendant made an ugly remark. And we've had that happen, not just to him, but my
brother and I went to a diner locally, and I point blank was harassed.
And then I have a friend who's a Black woman, and in my local community here where I live, not far from my house, there was people calling her the N-word, kids calling her the N-word, the high school, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. And that was one of the most sweetest, kindest women you could ever meet. Gentle, loving.
if I'd have been there, it would have been a problem. If I'd have been with her or I'd seen it happening, it would have been a problem. I probably would have went to jail. That's how serious I take that kind of thing. I don't allow for people to be abused around me.
Van City Adventure.
Van City Adventures. Hey, sweetie, how are you doing? I was watching your live stream a while back where you and your son, I believe you were at a lake, or I think you were at a lake, and he is the cutest little guy. You know, he is awfully sweet. And I wish, so we did some camping with Brent when he was little. He was really little when we did some, but very little. All right, so let me just roll down here to the bottom. All right. Fairy dust will not be home for a few weeks. I'm getting used to more of full-time camper thinking. You know, I could do it longer term in an RV that felt comfortable to me. I have no idea why on earth I constantly watch van videos.
Priscilla on screen.
Mm-hmm. But thank you, Priscilla. But I do, and I will never be a van lifer. I can't. I need to have some room. So, but I love them. I can dream about it and I can think about it. We're actually going to put some flowy curtains back here.
Some white sheer.
Some white shears. All right. Brought up to be.
Quit clicking on all of them.
Oh, okay.
Putting them on screen takes away your.
Oh. So Peter must have said something about it's the way people are brought up. Actually,
But he was brought up normal.
Okay, so my son was brought up normal as well, and
I used to be a Christian straight Republican.
He was a young Christian straight Republican.
And now I'm complete opposite.
He went to church camp. We loved the church. He loved the pastor still. You know, if Britt wanted to talk to that pastor still, he could go talk to him. We had a, it's not, at least in this case, I can tell you, my son, he played t-ball, he played football. I pushed him. And by the way, field events in track and field, who, by the way, I'm better than him at it. I was a javelin thrower. I thought he's built to throw the javelin. I got him, you know, so in high school, he couldn't throw the javelin for crap. So he was just, one of the things he was brought up to be was to find a way to be him. And whether I fully understand those things or not, is at this, you know, I don't have full understanding of any of it. And guess what? I do a recovery program that has taught me to drop the rope. And there's certain things I have to drop the rope over. And for me, my son's happiness is what actually matters to me. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's just the way it is. Priscilla just loved good people, no matter their ilk. Well, and you know what? I have learned to love people that are not easy to love. And that's important. I was raised, treat all with respect. Yes, that's how we were raised. Now, that does not mean there were not. So yes, we were trained. We were taught to love people, all kinds. Respect is earned, not given. Back roads. So I respect people as humans. Okay, I respect people as human beings. I have such a variety of friends, back roads, that I've got to know deeply that are all different kinds of people. And yes, as far as respect, I guess I just look at it a little bit different because I respect
that people, most of the time, not all the time, people are trying to do the best they can. I don't think that most people, honest to God, get up in the morning and think, how can I find a way to be abused today? How can I find a way to walk out of my house and have people calling me names, saying things about me because of my color, or because I carry a purse because I'm a man? I don't think most people wake up and ask, can I find someone who's going to beat the crap out of me or maybe kill me because I like the same gender, or because I am Latino, or because I am, I'm a black person, or because I'm a whatever, or because I'm a woman. You know what? Women have been targets for a long time. Lots of women. So anyways, I just don't think people intentionally try to make life be the worst life they can have. You should start a daily morning show. You will do well in the AM. Okay, Lance, you have never seen me in the AM, my friend. No, the reason I can't do the AM is because the injury to my spine that I have that will never be gone, it creates in the beginning of my day for several hours. Well, in the very beginning, it's a level 10 pain that I have. When I first get out of bed, literally when I'm walking to the bathroom, I am in agony. And I do not do pain medication. I have it, and I can do some if I want, but guess what? I'd be taking it every damn day. And so I choose not to, because being a recovering alcoholic, I'm not interested in becoming addicted to something else. But thank you for the compliment. That is a compliment.
I love this compliment. I mean, this comment. It's pretty good.
It's their business. My problem is attempting to cram it down.
And that's how I feel about Mormons that go door to door.
Okay, so as I said, remember
when you were.
Yeah, so when I was, when Brent was, no, he wasn't.
Right when you were trying to get pregnant.
Okay, it was actually long before you. So when Brent, before my son was even on this earth, I was living in an apartment, and it wasn't, by the way, it wasn't LDS. It was another religious organization came to my door and were very pushy. And I'm like, I have an actual religion I believe pretty strongly in. I have a faith in a God that's greater than me. I believe, I was this and that. And so I said, so I'm good. And, I don't need the watchtower. I just don't need it. Now, that's not saying that they don't need it, because that's what so there's people want it. That's great. I turned them down. So they came back 3 times. On the 3rd time, they had a child with them, and they positioned the child between me and them. All right. So I guess that behavior is a behavior I can't stand. I don't like people who use children to manipulate others with. It's probably not akin to it, but, there's just all kinds of bad behaviors, and they tried to cram it down my throat, is what I'm saying. So they tried to cram that down my throat. And by the way, I don't agree with boys being able to dress and undress in girls' locker rooms. There have been more than one situation where it's been a bad situation. And if I had a 6-year-old little girl or a 6-year-old little boy, I would be I would not allow them in locker rooms alone, because guess what? Predators also. I'm not saying that the LGBTQ people are predators.
We're not.
Because no, I've been assaulted twice in my life. Once by a female when I was about 3 years old, and then when I was 13 by a male. Okay, so when I was 12. And so predators will always find a way to get a child alone, to have access to a child.
But you weren't in a locker room.
No, I'm just saying that. I'm simply saying that I'm not interested. Predators eventually will take advantage of the opportunity, to find a way in with a child. I'm telling you, I believe that with the depths of my being, because
I had one of the things I also studied was, you know, besides being offended, assaulted, molested, if you will, as a child, I know many people who have, and in almost every situation, well, as a child, people work their way into that child's presence. So, you know, I'm just really, that concerns me. I don't want it. I don't want it. There's no reason that these little boys and girls need to be using the same bathroom. If they want to do that, then they need to set up individual bathroom stalls, you know, like where the door closes, not like you go in and there's doors, but where there's just individual bathrooms. If it's going to be pushed, that's what, in my opinion, as a person who has child, who has nieces and nephews, blah, 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 I want to see it a little more separated. Okay.
Peter Dell asked, what does LGBTIOQ stand for? And well, that's not what it is, Peter. It's LGBTQ, as you know, because people have been saying it in the chat.
And so, yes. And as a matter of fact, let me give you an example, Peter Dell. So when I was a child, I was a complete and total tomboy. I wanted to be a boy.
Say goodbye to Boxing D.
Bye, D. Thank you so much. I haven't eaten all day either, by the way. So when I was a little girl, I was a complete tomboy. I wore jeans, I wore t-shirts. I didn't really climb trees. I'm afraid of heights. And the only time I got up in a treehouse, I had to be rescued by firemen. So, but I wanted, like when I was a little girl, all I wanted one year was a football. You know, you see me today, a little different. I was a little girl. I just liked sports, as it turned out. I was very good at sports when I was young. I was very good at sports. I was very athletic. And today, I believe, and this happened when I went to the University of Oregon 12 years ago. I was in a big group of people. Okay, they were, and the LGBTQ plus organization came in and they were sitting down and we were all sitting in stadium seating. And I'm up here in the middle. I'm the only old person in there, by the way. And they gave their speech and gave information out. And this one woman said that she had been a tomboy. How she was equating things was that she was a tomboy, but nobody saw that she was gay because she lived in a small community here in Oregon. But that being a tomboy, they should have known that she was gay. Okay. I had to sit there. I thought, I just started college. I don't want to make a lot of enemies. You know, you work in groups but I sat there for a few minutes and I let them get through their thing. And then I raised my hand very slowly. So I raised my hand and they called on me and I said, you know, I had a really similar experience as you did. I was a complete tomboy. My little sister was a very girly girl. I was the boy. I wanted to be a boy, but I didn't want to be a boy because I was gay. I wanted to be a boy because I didn't think I could do sports. I don't know why, but I was one of 6 girls in my family. So, and I said, I told them, I said, I believe today, if I were a 6-year-old child today, I would be being steered. It's in school.
Well, nowadays girls can be in sports.
Yes, that's true. But I'm just thinking the mentality, you know, the principal had to come to my house. Okay, this is maybe TMI, but I'm going to say it because this is Life of Lucretia. When I started my menstrual situation, I was hysterical because I said to my mom, I can't be a boy now. She did not know what to do with me. That was pretty much my whole life, but she did not know what to do with me. And she called the principal down, who was, by the way, a very gruff man, Mr. Kuiper. He was as gruff as the name sounds, Kuiper. Kuiper, Mr. Kuiper comes down, always wore a suit, and he was so nice to me.
And, you know, it's just a matter of, oh, Peter, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, yes, go take care of your dad. Definitely, I've been there. So I've been on all sides of this. I don't think I could be any more informed. I don't understand what all of the acronyms are today because they come up with them like, and I, you know, but that's neither here nor there. All right.
Well, Kaylee explained it really well, as I put on screen.
Okay, yes, she did. Thank you, Kaylee, very much. All right, backroads. So, by those standards, everyone should live as who they are and quit trying to force everyone to accept them and trying to indoctrinate children to their ways. Live, live, and let live. So, you know, I think that that's a good idea. I'm not interested, you know, probably totally separate from this whole issue that we've been discussing. If I had my son that I have right now, because he was my only child, if I had a child today, I would homeschool them. If I know what I know now, that I could homeschool them, that I'd have the ability to do it, that there's curriculum, blah, blah, blah. And I would introduce them. He was in acting. My son is a fabulous actor. He got to be on, what was the name of that show?
Me?
Yeah.
Grimm?
Grimm. And wasn't there another one out that was in Portland, out of Portland?
That was Grimm.
Was that Grimm? Okay. He was
I
on.
was cast in two other sitcoms for network TV.
And he's a very good actor. So you know, as a young child, he was in 5th grade and they did, I don't know why, was it of a salesman? Was that
Yes.
they did, what's it was called?
I don't know.
Death of a Salesman in 5th grade. He was the lead character in that. He has been artistic in so many ways from the get-go, but doesn't mean that they're gay, by the way, because all the male actors in the world, excuse me. So, indoctrinate, Priscilla. Well, I know that that's a trigger word. And you know, you can feel like it's indoctrination. Sometimes, as I said, there are times when it feels like that to me. But that's when I think parents have to go, and there are certain things. It's not like I think that the teachers want all their children in their class to be LGBTQ.
Priscilla is going to good night.
All right, Priscilla. Good night. Thank you for staying as long as you did. I appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. And I love my little sister. I love my little sister with every fiber of my being. I would take a bullet for her without question. Yeah, agreed. So what I know is that I think there are people with agendas, no question in my mind.
Kaylee has a good point.
Okay. Yes, macros, but there are very few people trying to force on anyone, and even fewer trying to indoctrinate children to something they are not.
I mean, we should be more focused on schools that are religious oriented, that are indoctrinating children, than public schools.
Okay, so so my son, for a brief period, so I was afraid for him to go to high school. I really have been a very fearful mom in many ways. As I look back, I didn't do him some favors. Okay, I was afraid. He is so sweet. He was so sweet of a kid, just loving child. And I also didn't want him to get involved in drugs because, you know, he's got recovering parents and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I wanted him to go to a private school. Okay, I will drop the link. After I say this, I'll drop a link. So a link I'll show. It's to let someone come up and be on screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He wants to be a guest.
Yes, he's going to be my guest. That's in a nutshell, Brent. So Alex, and so anyway, I wanted him to go to this Christian school in town, but I didn't have $1,000 a month to send him, and so there is a private nonprofit school, And I went and interviewed the teachers, some of the teachers over the summer. I loved the atmosphere, the teachers, as far as the teachers go, their philosophies. I go drop Brent off at first day of 9th grade at Wellsprings School. We pulled up there. I left hysterically sobbing when I dropped him off. We pull up, and it's on a main street in town. It's on the far west side of town. It's not in town. It's kind of outside of town, but it's on a main street. And there were boys in black trench coats and girls, and they're out there smoking. And I see the black trench coats, and I'm like, oh, hell no. This is not happening. My kid is not going to school where there's black trench coats. All right. So I left hysterical. I was beside myself. All right. I had to pull it together. I couldn't put him into the Christian school. And so I called the school and I talked to them. I just had a biased view. Now, I don't know that they were bad or good kids or troubled kids or whatever, but they smoked.
Were very good kids.
And however, so he only went there until January. So he went there for fall term. And then he went to the high school that his dad and I both went to, and pretty much my whole family. But what happened is that there was a discussion about, again, it's going to be one of those topics, but about abortion. And he was against, like, he had feelings of being against it. Okay. I'm trying to remember, there was one girl, some of the kids got hysterical. And a boy put his fist through the door. A girl had to go call her mom because Brent upset her so bad. I call him Brent still. It's his middle name. I do try to call him Alex. It's not disrespectful to him, and he knows it. So it was bad. And when I picked him up and he told me about this, actually the school called me ahead of time because they knew it was probably going to be a problem for mama. And it was. And I was like, I want him out of there. I don't want him. So the reality is, what they told me, the school told me, please don't take him. He handled it so well. He stayed calm. He wasn't disrespectful or rude to them. In return, he didn't give what he got. And they wanted him to rub off on the other kids. Just not that topic necessarily, but they were shocked at how mature he was and able to handle the situation. So anyways, there's so many things in this world, and there's things, even as a conservative, I'm upset about that most conservatives are happy about, and there's things that I'm unhappy about that, that's one of the reasons I think that I'm going to disconnect. I don't like it being labeled. I'll either vote for somebody because I believe and trust their policies, or I will not. I voted for Bill Clinton the first time around. I was a Democrat at that point. After that, I switched parties. And who knows what I'm going to be next. I just think I want to be unaffiliated. I just want to vote for who I want to vote for, by the way. And why does this state not allow people to vote in the primary? I know why they do, but that's another thing. Do you know how many people who do not understand the Electoral College? I studied it, and I intentionally studied it because I wanted to know, why are people constantly saying this and that and whatever. Anyways, I will be here all night if I keep going. So, Boondock with Doomer. Oh, our channel names.
She's talking about.
I believe NEA does have agendas. Yes.
He's talking about this. No.
LOL, life Lucretia. Question: are you dropping the link? Oh, I'm going to drop the link. Yes. Copy. I have a couple questions for you too, Lance, by the way. So I dropped the link. Van life wages. California won't let you vote in the primary if you don't. Us two here. So that's why I'm registered as I am right now. I live in a state at this time, I live in a state that it'll never be a conservative state. It was long ago, but it is not now. So I don't really have a dog in the fight in the state to get a president elected. I don't. So anyways,
Peter has a question for
Peter
you.
has a question. Do you guys think the midterms were rigged to save Hunter from disgrace? I don't think it was rigged, but I think they're doing everything they can to. Yes, I have many concerns about that, but that would be, not to get so far afield here. But yeah, no, I think they're working hard to save them. All right, Lance, are you ready? Thumbs up. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Okay, add to stream.
Where's your earbuds?
Oh, I don't need earbuds.
No, I need them.
Oh.
Your headphones. The red ones on the hook over there.
Oh, here.
And you need them because you have to hear him.
I can hear him.
Right, but it's gonna echo.
No, it's not. I've done this many times, Alex. Okay, so can you hear me?
How are you, Lucretia? Long time no see.
Long time no see. Your
Sure my phone is up.
your trip. I can't believe I was. So this is how far behind I was. I didn't know till the other day, till I started commenting on your videos, that you've been in the States for about 3 months.
Yep, since near Halloween night. That's when I came across.
I did not know, and I don't know how I lost track of you, because I love you. I think you're adorable. You're fun. You're a very fun person,
Thank you very much.
and you're a great supporter of the channel. You have always been, and I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Charlie Grace says, "Oh no, she brought on the Canadian." Actually, Charlie Grace, you should come up here. The link's there. She have some nice discussions about everything that's been going on in here. As you know.
Yep, we have.
No, I haven't had a chance to watch other people's videos too, or do lives. Yeah, she's still recovering. That's okay.
Land Cloud says, "Speak up," and hello, Land Cloud. Thank you so much for coming over.
With my microphone, and my internet's horrible. Where I'm sitting in a Cracker Barrel parking lot tonight.
Well, I'm hearing you okay, but I can, I'm turning up my volume. I have a big voice. I have to be really careful because it sounds like I'm yelling at people.
Yeah.
I think. Go ahead.
Cool. I like the new channel now. It's cool, pretty cool.
Thank you. I'm hoping that it does. My hope is that it allows me to feel comfortable broadening some of the stuff. I'm still going to do everything I always did, and I just want to do some more stuff and have it feel more authentic. More authentic. So about the hijacking, I would not say that they haven't been. I believe there have been issues. I know there have been. I guarantee in my heart of hearts. Let's quit name calling, please. Let's not make blanket statements. Not okay. I appreciate that, Kaylee. Lucretia introduce the topics. Otherwise, we could devolve into adversarial chaos. Yes, that's the point. It's like I've said all along. I don't mind, and I will have other long live streams, and I'll intentionally open up certain conversations. But name calling isn't necessary.
Yeah, he's been blocked now anyway, so by several people.
Okay.
And enough of that. He won't stop.
So
if you don't know something about something or someone or even a group of people, you don't just come in and act uneducated and ask silly questions. You go and research this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I just floored
but
by
I
some of the
do.
comments people are making.
Go ahead. You go ahead. I'm going to close my mouth now.
I'm just shocked by some of the people that are coming in here. Oh, Charlie Grace is here.
I thought I put in my best face, so therefore I could just show you my audio avatar.
That's
But
your new icon, isn't it cute?
That is so cute.
hey, I'm
Now-
so excited for your new channel. This is exciting. Congratulations.
Well, it's just a new channel name, and we're just trying to branding it. Giving it a more authentic branding process, I guess, or brand. My son knows more about this stuff than I do, and so I'm rolling with it for now. We'll see what happens. But I was, the fact that you're able to go out. I love your RV. Your Class B. It reminds me of oh gosh, I can't think of his name. Big channel, and I did get to have him on here. My brain is kind of tired now. Anyways, it would be fun to have an RV like that.
Yeah, it's super easy to get around, because it's small, which I think is fantastic. But however, it. Yeah, I was right. Keely said, Charlie Grace, you said Cracker Barrel. How about those Fish Fridays? The flexibility is what I really love about it, quite honestly, because I can go anywhere. I can do a lot more things. It's a lot less gas mileage, but there's trade-offs. I do miss having a big space. I do miss, having a nice big bedroom. You just sort of got to work with what you have.
So are you full-time?
I am anytime. I like to say anytime. So
okay,
I still have sticks and bricks, but I'm typically on the road 9 months out of the year.
Okay. All right.
I'm half full time.
You're half full time?
No.
That's called quarter time.
This half. That's what you always wanted too, Lucretia, was a Class B, didn't you?
Yeah, yes.
But
I need
Quit clicking on comments.
Oh, I'll quick. Okay, my son is clicking on the comments at the same time I am. All right, I'll leave the comments alone.
How's the king doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Lane?
Good to see you and hear from you again.
Yeah, you too.
So, I think, Charlie Grace, one of the things that I have a problem with as far as my RV being Class C, well, an older Class C, I don't know that I would feel comfortable towing a car with it, like a small car, a small truck or something.
Right.
And being stuck, okay, like when we were in Quartzsite, we were like, if we had to unhook from our solar because it was not hooked up at the time, we'd have to unhook from our solar to leave. We'd have to put everything away, as you well know, when you travel. And so I would like to have either completely do it different, where we have a bumper pull or a fifth wheel, or we have a small tow. I don't know which to do, and I want a different RV. When we do any more like a long term, like if we were going to be 6 months or something, like solidly gone from our home base for months and months, I really need a little more room rather than just have all we had was the where you eat, that area. Right. And our little bedroom area. Yep. I want something that maybe since it's Richard and I traveling together, it will be Richard and I traveling together. I think we would do better. Well, we did fine. We didn't have one argument till the 2 days before we left, and then I was ready. There was just a lot of stuff happening, and I wanted to be gone.
You'll have more fun without him.
Oh no. Here's my suggestion, because I think we always say we think we know what we want, but when it comes to RVs, I think one of the smartest things we can ever do is to go to RV rentals and take a look at renting different ones, because I wish I would have done that when I started. It would have given me a better understanding.
You're right. I agree. So my only issue is I didn't have the means to do it. I would have loved to have done that. Truthfully, it would have been so much better. Because if I had a Class C, started out, like, let's say my first rental was a Class C, like what I have now, where it's just that smaller area. And
and then I did that, and then I did a bumper pull where there was a vehicle we could drive away with when we wanted to go to town or do something, and maybe had a couch
Mm-hmm.
and a place, to eat, and then a bedroom. And then I would have saw what that was like. I've spent many an hour looking at RVs, on videos. Oh, especially the new ones. Oh my gosh.
You can go down the rabbit hole. I mean, Lance and I, we were just at the Tampa RV show, and you go in these RVs and you're like, oh, this is great. And I love this. And I love the floor plan. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of money. You sit back and you really try to figure out what's the most important thing. And if space is important to you, fantastic. I know personally speaking, I don't like to tow. It's just one of those things. I'd rather just drive it and have it, and I'm good to go. And I like my bathroom with me at all times.
Right.
I think the question would be, did you guys finance or buy it cash?
Oh, because for us, we had a small amount of money to buy cash with.
Okay, Lance, why don't you go first?
I paid cash for mine. I had the money in the bank already, and I bought a used one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I financed. I'm not gonna lie. I financed the. I've had three rigs. Oh, stop. And then I ended up getting enough money to pay what I have off. But at the time, I was in a pickle. I had 30 days to get something before I had to go out on the road.
Oh,
so
wow.
My options were pretty limited.
Yeah. So one of the things is the house that I'm living in was my father's. I was raised in this house. And we may have Richard and I will have an opportunity to get a reverse mortgage on this house, likely, possibly, hopefully. And
Can I make a suggestion on that one? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think I would almost prefer you to do a home equity. This is me speaking, than a reverse mortgage, because at the end of the day, you can always at least hold on to your real estate. A reverse mortgage, you would be handing over your deed at the end of your term of your lifetime.
So my father had a reverse mortgage. My father had a reverse mortgage on this house.
Okay.
And if he did not have a reverse mortgage, so right now things are still up in the air. I have to get mine and Richard's name on the title, the deed, the title to the house. And I can do that because I was his executor, and it states in his will that I can do whatever needs to be done with his properties. Okay, so, and I've had the reverse mortgage people tell me they can roll this reverse mortgage into a brand new one. I don't, because otherwise I have to find a way to pay for it eventually.
Right.
And I will not have the money. It's not going to happen. And so then we're completely out of a place, this home. This would not be our home any longer. And more than that, it's just my father built this house, and I nailed the chipboard and all that good stuff. And so I have emotional attachment, but I won't say emotionally attached if it's going to destroy us, of course. But what my goal is to take so I will be splitting that, whatever happens, I will be splitting with my sisters. I have 3 living sisters. They will get part of it, and then we would get part of it, and then take that and use some of that to get something something better. When I say the word better, I mean something that fits what I would like or what Richard would like. We don't mind being in close quarters together. We've been married almost 40 years. We're going towards 40 years. And so we've been together a long, long time.
Holy shit.
And we...
Hey, language, young man.
I know. None of that, please.
I speak English.
And so, but I want a slide out. I want a little more. I just want a little more room. Really. I want a couch and a desk. That's really, and I would prefer to have one bed, but we don't mind even. But in our RV now, I don't remember if you remember it, but I've shown many videos. There's this big giant armoire right in the middle, right between them. I can't even see his face at night. I didn't like that. I actually like the man I'm married to, and so I thought, well, let's just cut it off. Let's just and make that into like a big nightstand, put a thingy on top and make it into a big nightstand. But everybody that I know seems to be against that. I just think we need to get a different RV eventually. I know that it'll happen if that's what's meant to be. we'll make it happen. If I make it happen, trust me, it will happen.
There you go.
Buy an empty van, take your clothes, food, basic necessities, and go. Learn what works and what. I do know what works. I do. I honestly do. Now I do.
You have
and
to
I-
plan. You have to plan things. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to plan
Some
things
people-
way ahead of time.
I think there's people that works really well for, Lance. They are able to do that. But because I know the seriousness, I know the intricacies of my disability. I need a bathroom present. I cannot go looking for a bathroom, and it just I just want a toilet. I want a dedicated toilet room.
Every woman deserves their own bathroom, but I think also something you need to take
Every
into
guy
consideration-
too.
Okay, every guy too. You're right. You guys can have trees outside though. So what I'm saying is, I think what's interesting is we always have to be careful about the age and stage of our life. So depending on the age and stage and our medical issues and other things that we need to do, sometimes it's not as easy as just go grab a bag and get in a van and go out in the woods. So I think we're planning differently than we would say in our 20s or 30s.
Even in my 40s, my 30s, 40s, I would have been very happy that way. Richard and I actually lived like that for a period of time when we were first together, and or when we were married, when we were first married, and we made earrings, like not necessarily just like this, but real like rock earrings out of different what is it called? Can't think of the name of these kind of rocks, but there's black, there's all kinds of different shapes, colors, whatever. Anyways, we paid off a brand new car by traveling around the Oregon coast and selling them, but we didn't have a child. We didn't have anything. Right. We just had a car, and we had a tent, and it wasn't even a tent you could stand up in. It was one of those round kind. You just got in and sat down, yep. And we just turned a flashlight on, and it was a fun time. Camped on the beach. You can't do that in Oregon anymore. Not right on the beach. No. Anyway, so yes, back in that time, I could have done anything.
Are you wearing your earrings?
Yes.
Well, I'm about to get to South Padre Island, and I can camp on the beach there. I can't wait.
I did. Oh. What did you say that about Padre Island?
I'm about to go to South Padre Island, and I can beach anywhere. Camp anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember my dad had stories about that area from when he was in the Navy, and he would go to certain places. And I remember talking about Padre Island, South Padre Island. And so I did learn lessons about what I need in an RV and what I don't, really, truly. Another thing I'd like in an RV, I want the sink. I would like a decent sink, but I want higher up. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Brand new.
And I will say this: so many people are putting in these circle sinks in these RVs that are absolutely worthless. So if you have a kitchen sink that's a circle, they're very tiny too. So you can't wash pots and pans. You can't. It makes no sense. So whoever came up with that idea, it was a very vogue concept. But the first thing I did was replace my kitchen faucet because I couldn't pull it out. It wasn't big enough. I couldn't do anything with it. Like, no.
Yes, there's just some basic things like that. And so since I did get that one opportunity, I know, a couple things. But I do waste a lot of time watching van life videos. And I'm talking like caravans, like Dodge Grand Caravans, Minivan Lee. I wish I was Minivan Lee. That lady can live and sit and sleep on her freaking floor.
It's crazy. I know.
Darn floor.
I just did a video. I just did a blog because one of the things I'm doing this year is I'm trying to make sure that I'm writing and putting things out a few times every week. So one of the things I did was I will have had my van for 2 years, middle of this month. I think it was February 25th I got the van. So I spent 2 years and I looked at every single thing that I bought, what I really needed, what I didn't need, and I actually sat down and wrote a list because I think it's really important because I think a lot of people, they get a rig and they spend so much money on stuff that they don't need. They really don't need. So I finally put together the list. I put in my blog post if anybody wants to look at it. It's on charliegraceadventures.com. But I just see, I go to these campgrounds and I watch these people with all this crap they don't need.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that would be nice. So my thinking would be nice to have
is like a pop-up of some sort, so that Richard and I could have separation when if I wanted to go work on something. He wants to watch TV. Even if it was a smaller rig, it doesn't have to be giant. We could have a separate little pop-up room for outside.
Yeah, those are great. Get like a little they call it, clams. They've got different names now for them, but they're fantastic.
Yes, they are. They're great. I love them. And so that's also an option. That's always an option, something like that. Yeah, there's
Richard up there. Actually, I would like to be on top most of the time anyway. So I don't mean top. I mean up there.
Really, Lance? Really, Lance?
Oh, good save. Good save. You're the good time at a party, my friend. So
wait, doesn't he look like an 80s rocker guy? Does he look like
No.
he's got the hairband thing going on now? I mean, geez.
Yes, you do. You do. I mean, especially when you have on your hat. Your one hat. Definitely. Yay. Definitely like what's his name? I think he's dead.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yes. And I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I do. I didn't back then. I didn't really know him. I was in country music at the time.
But you know him?
Know of him. Know the music, Brent.
For Van Zant? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Switch cameras.
Okay, I'm going to switch cameras real quick here because the other one
Is
just
half charged.
is better. EOS.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Look at you with multi-cameras. Hello.
So when we bought that, it's a Canon something, and it's the entry level. I have to find it again. There's the camera. All right, it's an entry level camera where I could get a different lens for it.
Can you zoom in on it? Because you're farther away now, but it is clearer.
Yes. Go ahead, zoom a little bit.
Zoom in.
Zoom in just a little bit.
Keep going.
Okay, so here's what you say. Tonight at 11. No, would you stop? Don't. Back up.
There we go.
Tonight at 11?
Tonight at 11, Lucretia will bring you the results from the latest election as well as the news in RV. Take it, Lucretia.
Brent, it's way back. It went back out again for some reason.
I zoomed it out.
Oh, can you just zoom it in just a little bit? And yeah, just in a little.
It's a smidge.
Eyes. We want
I don't-
blue in her
I don't feel connected. So Backrow says, I'm currently in New Mexico. I spoke with a guy at a Home Depot a couple of weeks ago who was fined in Arizona for having a house rain gutter and it's Class C that he uses for rain. OMG. I do not see. That's the kind of stuff I just don't understand. And nor do I understand the state wanting to ban generators.
For the pollution, because they want to change to electric cars.
Yeah, the generator thing is a big deal. I know. I love my generator. I'm not giving up mine anytime soon.
Charlie Grace, please say where your blog is so I can drop a link.
Sure. Okay, so it's charliegraceadventures.com. You can just check it out there, and there's a blog link right there.
Kaylee says, thank you, Alex. So on the road, have you guys, let's see, you both have traveled extensively. Charlie, I mean, you've traveled extensively. I know Lance has. Have you ever ran into a situation where you felt you had real reason to be concerned about, and it didn't seem like that to start with. Like everything seemed fine. And then as you kind of settle in, you're like, this maybe isn't the right place.
Okay, Lance and I have a story.
That one.
Well, we got a story. Okay, so what?
I think she's fearing for her lives kind of thing.
Oh, this is fun. Okay, so just recently, because he's been traveling, like he said, for 3 months, and I've been able to meet him twice along his travels. And on the second time, like I said, we were just at Tampa, and we had decided to stay at an RV park a resort as opposed to boondocking at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And although the fairgrounds is nice, don't get me wrong, we have a lot of friends who were there. It was just a little easier, and I had the dog, and there's electricity, and it's all put together, and it's nice. So on the first day of the show, since I have the van, I thought I'd be polite, and I picked him up, and we drove in together. So he didn't have to bring his rig for 2 parking. It was just my rig with the dog.
Yeah.
And we got there, parked, had a great day. We come back to the campground. Lance, take it away. At 8:30 at night. And what happened?
And somebody's parked in her spot in a fancy RV resort. It's like, what? And this guy had no plans on moving. It was a big 5th wheel, and it would have been a pain. And it was dark, and it would have been a pain in the butt for him to do all that. But he just wasn't very nice, and he wasn't very helpful. And so go ahead and tell him what you did and what you wanted to do. That's just the best part.
So Lance, spoke to the gentleman who was very rude. He was very non-nice, and
he slammed the door and said, "I'm not moving."
Yeah, really not nice. And so I'm in the van with the dog. I turn on all the lights on the van because I don't want to see an altercation. I want to see a de-escalation, because things can get pretty hot and heavy, especially that time of night. And it really was a big rig he had with a big truck. And so I thought, you know what? In order to get into this place, you have to have a special card with your site number and your name and everything on it, because they've got a guard at the gate, right? So you go there and you do a little wave and show your stuff. And I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, I'll walk over and say, you know what? I bet the campground made a mistake. I bet it's the campground. Maybe they double booked us. It can happen. It could happen anywhere, right? So I brought my card with me, and I said this because by this time this guy is now getting out. He's circling around. I'm like, well, I don't know what he's doing, but whatever. And he then decides to get belligerent, starts to curse me out, extremely rude, and there's nothing more fun than a hot-tempered redhead with a guy this was getting good. I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to let this happen. But at the same token, I didn't want any retribution. I was trying to de-escalate, but I'm like, you know what? Let's let him stay there for the night. But I don't want to take someone else's camping spot either. I don't want to do this to somebody else. Right?
No.
Right. So we found the guard said you could stay at the spot, so I stayed in that spot. And then my evil redheadness came out a little bit and said, oh my gosh, someone needs to teach this guy a lesson, but I don't want to make a big scene. So what would be the best thing you could do? And he said he was leaving early in the morning. By the time they had already left, the guy already came through the parkway to see who was there. And of course he had already been gone, and I told him my story. But I thought, what if I was concerned about his wife, honestly, because this guy did not look like a nice guy. I wanted to look at this lady and go, are you in fear of your safety? He was not really cool, not really nice. But yeah, I my brain started to turn.
That's really frightening, actually, because there's people, they're not safe people.
No, and this is a very expensive resort. This is not a even a state campground. This is someplace you pay decent money for. They should have, and as a solo female traveler, let's face it, these things do happen. Now, granted, Lance was there, which was fantastic, and he has better hair than me, but at nighttime, I'm sure they could tell that it was like 2 ladies walking around a campground.
Maybe, who knows? Who cares? But what her plan was to do is maybe put a pair of women's panties in his glove box and let his wife find them. And we didn't do that. But I thought, no, what's even better to put a pair of my underwear in his glove box.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
But we didn't know.
Oh, God, Lance. Yeah, that would be. You never know what's going to happen.
You never know. Never know. But I mean, you got to be safe these days, because that's the reality. We always talk about carrying protection. We always talk about being safe. But what we don't talk about is when you do encounter people that are just going to be rude, how do you de-escalate the situation so that there's no, so it's a win-win on both sides and you're walking away still feeling comfortable?
Well, so my understanding, how does somebody get to take a spot that's not theirs? I mean, shouldn't the campground?
We didn't know. We couldn't really do anything about it. There's only one guy at the gate. He couldn't come down because he was running the gate. Nobody else was. We found out later that this campground is closing in 2 months. And they're short staffed.
Well, you can tell which one. It's lazy day. It's lazy days. It's a big campground. It's a
They're
big.
closing
Yeah.
for 2 years while they renovate the place, but
Huh?
they're all losing their jobs and stuff. So none of them, half the employees already quit and got new jobs, and they just didn't really care because they knew they're going to lose their jobs. So
Mhm.
Yeah, but there was a bunch of YouTubers there. There was a lot of people we knew were there. So yeah.
That's so it doesn't matter, the price. Apparently, it can
Yep.
be there can be a
Anywhere.
bad situation.
Yep, anywhere.
But
Absolutely.
I've been staying at really nice places, and I've been staying at really bad neighborhoods
Mhm.
where I've been using Boondockers Welcome, and I've walked the streets in them, and I've had no issues with anybody. There's not one person I've come in contact with after 3.5 months. Traveling from New York City all the way down to the Florida Keys, and no issues with anyone. And in Texas, and that's where I am now. No issues whatsoever.
So that is a
chances
place.
are slim. The chances are slim. I mean, you watch all these YouTube channels and people traveling. How often do you hear somebody traveling in an RV that's getting hurt? There's been very minimal.
I mean, you've got to be aware of your surroundings. You just do. I mean, there are certain places if you don't feel safe and you feel uncomfortable, you just move.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's Robin from Creativity RV. She had a situation where she was in a campground. It was she was off grid, and it was late at night, and she was hearing gunshots, and it was near her RV, and she did call the police. The police did come out there, but she couldn't tell who it was that was shooting. They were pretty sure they knew who it was, but they couldn't prove it. And so the police what they did is she really did want to leave, and they escorted her out, and she was able to go. They kind of gave her direction to go, but this is like late at night, and
Right.
And she's been traveling for 12, 13 years now. So that one incident in 12, 13 years, it's so like and now it probably won't happen for another 13 years to her.
Well,
So,
I mean, let's talk about this. I mean, we're sort of in a false sense of security in the society that I'm going to talk American, not Canadian. In the American society that we live in today,
yes,
things do happen, and we've been very blessed to not have a lot of altercations or issues in campgrounds. That has hit the press. You just don't hear about it. You don't hear about, well, I don't want to say mass shootings, but massive issues or anything like that when it comes to camping. You just don't. So let's just cross our fingers that it continues to be like that.
Well, and there are people who do not like that they're not YouTube, but the travel community has a tendency to downplay or not want to really talk about some of those things of where there have been people injured, or there have been really scary, threatening situations, or where people have been killed. But
it's very rare.
overall, no, it's a minor. It's more minor. But
Right.
Anything that could happen? I'm not of the mind that just because I would be off grid potentially, that a bad person might not be there.
Oh,
a
yeah.
bad person could be anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yes. And
well, I know you've been on for 3 hours.
Yes, I have been, and I have not eaten today, so I'm really.
Do you want to go? Should we let you go?
What, dear?
Should we let you go?
Well, a few more minutes. I'll talk a few more minutes. Backwards mindset, situational awareness, environmental awareness. I have no videos. I have videos about this topic. So he does, and that is a good resource. I was also watching a woman, the person who I call her my she is my what's it called? My spirit animal. She is actually a prepper homesteader. She's a homesteader prepper, and I know I can't even believe that I cannot think of her name. Oh, Patera. Patera. Her name is Patera, and it's in her channel. Anyways, she has special. She just shared recently. And she's very successful, like 500,000 subscribers. She's about 50-ish, 52, 53. She has a specialized training from Israeli combat of some sort. I do not know how Patera from Tennessee got that training, but Patera is she's a killer lady, anyways, to start with. no pun intended. But she said, you have to, situational awareness is like the first thing. You have to know where you're at, what your surroundings are. And by the way, if I don't want to potentially be attacked, there are certain things I should probably not do and places that I shouldn't probably go, because I can't run any longer. I can't run. I can't get away quick. And so I have
kind of like
my walker.
I wouldn't be going into a biker bar.
Well, and I wouldn't, probably go to a biker bar today either because I have a mouth. I have a very smart mouth, and
That you do.
I can, but I don't always. I'm learning to temper it. But anyways, I just being aware of where I'm at, who I'm around. Richard has had to pull me out of more than one place, and he's now got disabilities, and he doesn't fight anybody.
I wouldn't want to mess with you. Our birthdays are coming up soon.
Really sweet. You love Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I listen. We have. Yeah, I was gonna say we have differing viewpoints on this one, Lance and I do. I love it because I can park out early in the morning, like super early in the morning, grab a shower anywhere I want to. They're nice and clean. It's really an easy way to get in and out of places. Lance had a bad experience because they do ask specifically for your banking account information because they want to do a bank draft and not do a credit card draft. And
Well, they want to use the bank one as a backup.
And they want to use the bank as a backup. But that's a problem for some people, and I understand why people don't want to give financial information.
Yeah, yes. I just want to say hello to Naj. Naj, thank you for coming. Backroad says Marines are trained to improve, adapt, improvise, adapt, overcome all obstacles in all situations. They possess a willingness and determination to fight and keep fighting for victory. Sure, I was supposed to go into the Navy when I was coming out of high school. Yes, sir. I had trained my rear end off to get to that point. And then at the last minute, I had a boyfriend, and I decided not to go. But in so many ways, I wished I would have gone, but then I wouldn't have met Richard, and I wouldn't have met Brent, or had Brent, and I kind of like both of them.
Richard was the boyfriend?
No, he was not. I didn't meet him till I was like 21. I didn't meet him till right before I was 21.
Aww.
But I really wished. So we have I had 20 pounds to lose to get to the perfect weight for the Navy, for like be ideal. And we have a my Navy recruiter who I hung out with all the time. My junior and senior years, they would come and pick me up every day after school if I wasn't driving, and take me to the recruiter's office. They just keep you engaged. And so anyways, there's a hill. He said, oh, well, if you want to lose that last 20 pounds quick, just jog or walk out to the lake, which is about, from my house, it's like 8 miles. And I know because I've ridden my bike there when I was a kid. And I said, no, so what I did is, we have a hill here called Bailey Hill, and it's very steep. And I used to go jog from the bottom of that hill to the top of that hill twice a day. And trust me, that last 20 pounds was gone just like that. But I was healthy, a fit person at the time to start with. So, today I would pass out and die. And by the way, so here's would you like a funny story? It will make you laugh. I know it will, actually. As y'all know, I had a little problem with alcohol when I was young, and
a little.
And so when I used to jog up and down that road, there's a convent on that road, and I knew it was there, And then one time when I was trying to get sober when I was young. And I was about probably 20, right around 21 is when I quit drinking basically. And I remembered I didn't know what to do. And so it was that very seriously bad. So I go to this convent. I had been at my boyfriend's all weekend, this other boyfriend. And I was in this very nice black dress that had this kind of very cute collar, fluffy collar. This is like, I was 19 years old, long ago. And so I remember there was a convent, and I thought, I'll go. Maybe I'll talk to them, and maybe they can tell me what to do. So I go to the convent, and I go in the door. You know, it's very peaceful. It's very quiet, and also it was the serenity was just it was dripping with serenity, and they had a little water feature. So the mother superior comes out, and I'm like, I'm a hot mess, you know, like we're talking whole weekend in the same clothes, the same makeup. I had nice hair. I mean, I'm talking a nice hair of the 80s, you know, and all that big giant hair. And so I must have looked like a nightmare to this woman. And I can imagine what she was thinking in the back of her mind. What am I going to do with this girl? But I just, you know, she did end up telling me, she said, you know, without saying I had problems, she goes, you know, the thing is, you know, you basically, a convict, becoming a nun is not a way to stop drinking. You know, becoming a nun, you know, all the problems you got, you're still going to bring with you. And so, you know, it was just, when I think back on that poor mother superior and her, you know, her having to deal with this 19-year-old drunk girl in a black dress with makeup probably smeared all over my face and hair ratted out to my, you know, to the atmosphere, she was not expecting that on a Monday morning.
Did you happen to see The Flying Nun?
I was going to say.
I love Sally Field, as a matter of fact.
So I have to say, you're probably a story to her too. I mean, I know you're telling your story, but can you imagine the things that she was thinking of? This is great. So
I have no doubt.
That's awesome.
When they get together with their nun ladies and they talk about, now how do we deal with these people?
I think.
All right.
Ooh, love it.
Lucretia, I want to talk about what was being talked about earlier about, you know, the LGBTQ community and all that, and why it's so really important to make sure, like, people are not, it's not being shoved down people's throat to make people accept it. It's about awareness that, you know, not everybody is the same, and the reason why they're trying to make it more aware than any time in probably history is because all the violence against, you know, young women and young girls that are, you know, that are
transgender.
Yes, transgender.
So, okay, so I'm gonna piggyback on that, and I'll say this as a mom of a transgender kiddo. I'm really disappointed that we've picked a very targeted, high risk community to attack. This has really bothered me for some time. When you talk about, you know, you think of, everyone loves to talk about puppy dogs and kitty cats, you know, and I know that there was a lot of research that went into, let's deflect and let's target these particular people and deflect from the real issues there. What it really did was it really put people at risk.
Yes.
And safety is very huge for these individuals. It's huge for anyone, let's be honest. But for some reason, this is the highest targeted population of suicide and of brutality. Not cool.
No doubt.
Educating the public, and the public needs to be educated about it all, because, you know, kids are getting hurt all over. They're always being picked on, and adults as well.
Yeah.
So
that's true. But the thing that I shared for myself is that I don't see a need for, personally, I don't necessarily see a need for little girls and little boys to be sharing the same bathroom.
They are.
And I think, so that's a little different conversation, of course, you know. Yes, there should be, but does a kindergartner need to, you know?
Well, let me throw this out to you, because I think I know where you're going with this. We've grown up, and the bathroom is a big talking point. So we've grown up with boys and girls bathrooms. This is the first generation that's grown up with gender neutral bathrooms. They really have, and they don't know any different. there's not a huge issue per se when you just have stalls in both rooms, or you just have one bathroom and classes take turns. It's a really interesting situation to watch how this whole thing goes down. So I find this to be more of an adult problem than a kid problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Then you get, but unfortunately, Charlie Grace, you get somebody who's not, that they've got an issue that has nothing to do with them being transgendered or even authentically transgendered, by the way. Just very recently, there was a young man, I don't know how old, and in the female locker room of a, I believe it was a, uh,
Was it college or was it something, or high school?
no, it was like, oh, like YMCA, let's
Like
just say.
like a fitness. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fitness, but there was children. There was, girls, let's say younger girls, not adult grown women girls, but younger
Right.
girls. And where, women, like when I go to the gym, like we have a River Road Park,
Right.
recreation district, and there's a place where I go to swim when I get to go when I was swimming, and I would go swim there, and share it with all kinds of people and women, with all kinds of ladies. And it would be a situation similar to that. I remember thinking to myself, wow, that's kind of like River Road Park, blah, blah, blah. And this guy was running around completely nude. And I don't think that he was, the gist of it was he was not either authentically, he was just taking advantage of the opportunity to be.
There's always going to be someone like that on both
Yes.
sides of the fence. And
And
that's a rarity versus the normal, though.
I think that's true. I agree with you. That is a rarity. I'm glad that's a rarity. But so when that happens, those people need to be really addressed. And because then they make it hard for the rest of the group of
Correct.
people that need to have that, I'm just have to figure out in my own mind for myself. I got these little grandnieces and nephews. If, what do I think? What do I think? And I don't know.
I think it's tough. I think, like I say, I think we've been raised in a certain way. We've had these experiences in a certain way, and I think this next generation has a very different way of looking at it.
True.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think we have to take a step back and realize that we've been programmed in a certain way. I think it's very sad in the small town that I live in that my son cannot use the bathroom at Target without it being a misdemeanor and a $500 fine. So this is a kid who's been trans for, we're talking like 9-10 years old. We've gone through the whole entire process. He's now 20 years old, straight A student, has a job, has a car, never been in a wreck. Fantastic kid. You wouldn't in a million years even know. But he's still concerned about his safety every single day. And this is something.
And it's gotten to the point now where these children are hanging out that are transgender or gay or whatever, that they got to put signs up that our business accept the LGBTQ, which I can't believe they had to go to that point so bad.
I know.
Because people just will not accept them. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it shouldn't have to be a them. That's the real issue of the day is there shouldn't be a whole. I don't want to walk around saying I'm a redhead. That should not be my complete identity. I wouldn't want to walk around saying I'm a heterosexual redhead woman. We start putting labels like that on everyone.
I know.
It takes away the whole humanity point of it right there.
That's why I said earlier in the video, when I was in high school, I kissed a girl. Okay? But I know for a fact that I'm,
I did.
You kissed a girl too? Tell me you didn't.
I did too.
Oh, jeez.
What?
I
You
love it.
did?
I know. Part of what was difficult for me with my son is that he had so many girlfriends. Girls.
For me, what's so hard is that I'm a babe.
Bring your son over for a second, Lucretia.
Oh,
Let me
geez.
ask him something if he doesn't mind. What?
Family discussion.
Yeah, he's got to check his hair. I know.
No, I didn't check. Dude.
There you go, Brent, Alex. See what happened? He even changed his last name. Okay.
What I worry about is
Hey,
a
handsome.
lot of. I was telling your mom, a lot of business. How you doing, buddy? A lot of business are putting these signs up and saying that we accept the LGBTQ community now. But what I'm worried about now is that because of that, the people that are against them and that will harm them will see these signs and they'll wait outside the door and wait for some to come in and then harm them. I mean, it's great that they accept them, and then everybody should accept them. There's no questions about that.
I
But
mean,
to advertise, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, we have gay bars.
Yeah.
Yes.
We used to,
You know what I
Richard
mean?
and I played pool in gay bars before we ever had a child, and we were out in bars. We played. It just seriously, I have never seen them differently. You know, just
People
ahead.
just have to accept them. This is a way of life. Everything changes. We're not living in the dark ages anymore.
I will tell you, if I had had the choice, I would have preferred him not to be gay because of my fears that something could happen to him. I'll tell you, he carries a really nice, is it Prada purse?
It's Valentino.
He carries a nice
That's just
Valentino
great,
purse.
Ooh, hello.
And I'm afraid when he goes, and he, by the way, he may have a baseball cap on turned backwards. He looks very much like a male. Okay. He doesn't wear makeup. He's not trans in that way. He does have nails,
I
but
am trans non-binary.
okay. So
We're not bond. That's fine. That's totally
And-
fine.
And so, but I'll tell you what, I'm afraid when he leaves this house, and I know he's going to go, and he's going to be carrying his purse across to the gas station to go pay for gas or into the store, because I understand
Well,
people.
I've been trained in Thai Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts, and kickboxing for 3
But-
years.
That's good.
Here's as a mom. Let's just talk for as a mom. As a
I
mom,
know.
we want our children to be safe, no matter what age, no matter what stage. And I think
I'm-
we have an opportunity to have a very small dialogue with individuals. Don't get too preachy. Don't have to go into a whole big thing. I just think that you live by example, and if he is a fantastic example, and people get to see this, then it rips off those stereotypes or whatever it is that those misconceptions that people might have. I mean, I've had to deal with standing in front of state legislator and congresspeople talking to this who've known my children since they were babies,
Mhm.
who stand vehemently opposed of certain things that will 100% impact my family. And I look at them and go, how can you do this? You've known my child forever. How are they now a monster in your eyes because it's become a political target? So all I ask is that as we move forward, as we're all looking to be progressive and move forward into a new era, whatever party takes control, let's just keep our children safe.
It's part of evolution.
Let's
That's
do the
all it
right
is.
thing, and let's understand that just as we've had the civil rights movement, this should be all inclusive as well.
Yes. Yeah, and I do think that everybody. So I also can understand the old lady who goes, is confused by all of this, and she gets banned from the club,
Oh, yeah.
because she questioned it
Good
to
lawyer.
her, to the director of this, this athletic club, and she'd been a member for decades, and she's like, I don't feel comfortable undressing in front of this male who's here undressing. That's just, I'm 75 years old. Why do my rights now really have no place in the world? And that's how I'm not saying that's the truth. That's the fact. I'm just saying that's how that lady felt. I mean, from her description. And so, yeah, I mean,
I know, but that's like saying I don't. That's like saying I don't want to be near an ugly person.
oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And there's people like that who do the same thing. Oh my God, I can't stand to be with them. I need to drop a little science here because I know Solex is here, and this is a key standing point that a lot of people don't know. And one of them is that once you go through hormone therapy and you go through transition situations, you're making some really big decisions early in life. Number one, you're going to find out, do I want to have a biological child? Because once I start those hormones, it's game over. So if you're a woman transitioning to a male, you need to store your eggs. If you're a man transitioning to a woman, you need to store some sperm because you're not going to have an erection anymore. All these things of men thinking, I know, here you go, feel me, girl. This is what happens. So for women who are fearing for their lives in a locker room of a transgender, male to female, it's not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah. They're one of
Did you ever
the.
find out that campground who banned gay people? Remember your son found out about a campground that was, I think it was in Vegas, that was not allowing gay people? And my lawyer friend from Florida wanted to go after them, and we searched and searched and searched for it too.
Do you remember that, Alex?
I don't think he ever found it
I remember one.
again.
Okay, so I'm going to put him into the chat. Oh, he put himself in the chat. Okay.
I love that cartoon. You should use that for
Take off your
Hey, I got short
your-
hair one. Maybe you need a new one. I made that picture.
Oh, go ahead then. So do you remember that? I remember it now that he said.
Do I remember what?
The campground. There was a campground in Vegas that you had heard about.
Advertised.
That
And you're
advertised.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll find it someday. I'm not worried about it. Let's just hope they've changed their minds.
So I could tell you, I would never, even though there's things I just don't understand, but I would never stand by, even if I didn't understand it, and allow a person to be abused. I just couldn't do it.
There's no reason for it. But because you don't like something, you're going to hurt that person? It's because you don't like it and don't understand it?
Well, that happens. It does. That's sort of the way it is. And back the road to no man lander. And I understand your comment too. We talk about, a person is born this particular from a biological standpoint, and however mentally they can go in a different direction. So what's interesting is that the topic of people think it's a true choice. I don't think anyone really chooses to have a life that hard. Nobody would ever want their life that hard. So there's a lot more to it than what we're thinking of, and we cannot blame it on outside factors.
Yep. If you're a man and you're attracted to a man, that's it. That's what you're attracted to, and that's what you're going to be. If you're a woman attracted to another woman, that's what you want to be. And if you're a man who feels like he wants to be a woman, what does it matter to anybody else? Just
Who
let
cares?
the person be whatever they want to be.
Let him be
Don't
a good.
judge them.
Yeah,
And
just let him be a
accept
good
them.
person. Yep.
Don't go after them and attacking them, and because you're
Don't-
going to end up in
don't-
jail
don't pick-
anyways.
Don't pick on long-haired Canadians.
Charlie Grace, there was a woman. Well, it was a woman who transitioned to a man, and from a very early age. And I remember the story. I watched the story. I was very. I mean, this is I'll say it's over a decade ago, and family was very supportive, and encouraging from a really young age, like really grade school age, and the problem is that this person hadn't really matured mentally or emotionally. The transitioning was starting pre-puberty, and their story now is that they really believe there has to be more stringent, because they found out that was not who they were, but they had come from such a young age of being encouraged. Probably, I'm just going to use the word encouraged. I don't know, being encouraged by their family to follow this, whatever it was that they saw in this child, and allowed early transitioning process, as early as doctors would do, whatever it is they do with hormone replacement and all of that. Well, this person said, there's no going back, and I regret that this was allowed to happen to me at such an early age. So I'm thinking I would only like to see some like with transitioning, with
There's
like
so
the
much-
medical end of it.
I know. There's the problem right now is it's such a small population. There's
Yeah.
not enough money and studies to go behind a lot of this stuff. It's you have endocrinologists all over the country, and you think of really what's the study of work. You don't have this huge track record that you want. And I believe in puberty blockers. And you get to a point where you're in the transitional stage. Every person who's ever been a teenager knows how screwed up we really are as teenagers, right? We
Yes.
don't really know what we want. But as a parent, you can look at your child and go, I don't know. They might like, we can say male, female, or gay. When it goes into another category, it gets to a whole nother level. So
Yes.
it's a whole nother issue that you have to step back and go, let's put on the brakes. Let's see how
Exactly.
this pans out a little bit. But I do believe puberty blockers are not a bad thing. Just because I've watched what can happen. Just imagine having to have a double mastectomy.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
or feeling like you are so depressed because you are a female to male transition and wearing those binders that you can, essentially really lose your breath. It's choking you.
Yes.
Horrible.
Well, and I would bet if we went back and were able to talk to people back in the early 1900s, a lot of, to middle, through the early middle 1900s, we would find that there's a lot of suicide that happened to people that
Oh, yeah.
went on to get married and
Yep.
have this life that they were socially understood to have, need to have.
Yep.
And then the people are going, why did Bobby commit suicide? Why did I mean, he seemed so happy with Janie, and as it turns out that there's this whole other story going on that nobody would have never ever in a million years, because those people would have been killed back in
They had to be hidden. You had to be hidden. Yeah.
A child takes his own life because he can't be accepted from other people,
Grandpa said,
especially adults as well.
Grandpa said that back in World War II, when he was on the island, that there was two guys that shared a tent, and they got kicked out of the Navy because they were a couple.
Well, then they would have, because Grandpa was in the Navy in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's back then.
Navy thing saying, "Don't tell," whatever. That was
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, that was just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, there's a lot.
Well, it's changed now.
Okay, Lance, you brought up a topic that we could talk about for hours, but I'm sure Lucretia's exhausted.
Well, that's why I got you up here, because they were talking about it, and there's so much misinformation in your chat.
Well, I will say right now, I'm an ally. I give free mom hugs at Pride. I was one of the first Pride sponsors in my small town. We've never had one before. And I believe that it's just every human's a human. That's it.
Yes, totally true. Totally true.
And pride is about awareness. That's what it's all about. But some people don't understand that. They think it's just like these people want to come out and try to take over the world and just want to show how gay they are. That's not what it's about at all. But some people are confused with it. You just need to educate yourself, people, please. And the world will be a better place. I mean, this is not new anyway. It's been going on since the Roman days.
Oh, yes.
It's not it's like all of a sudden everybody's going to start changing to men, women to women, and all that. It's been going on for years, or hundreds of years. So, anyways, thanks for having me up.
Yes, and thank you for wanting to come up and share this evening a little bit. It's been really nice to see you and Charlie Grace both, and I now will. You're headed back home when, Lance? When are you headed back to Canada?
Well, right now I'm in Waco. I'm headed down to San Padre Island, and then out west to Arizona, New Mexico, California, and then heading back west to Texas again, then Tennessee and Alabama, then back home. I got to be home by May 1st, legally by Canadian law. They'll come looking for me.
We got to kick them out. We got immigration stuff to deal with here. We got border control for those Canadians.
I got contact. My father's a police officer.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for coming up, and I hope I will see you again soon. All right?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thanks a bunch.
Say goodbye to your son.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And there we go. All right. So, you guys, thank you very much for coming and hanging out. And I hope that you will continue to follow the channel. I hope this does not push anybody away, that I'm changing up a little bit. Again, we'll be doing the same stuff, and I'm making a schedule for myself, kind of like going to work every day. That's the way I see it. I'm making a schedule so that I can do certain videos, certain times, and I'm going to balance it all out. But I really do appreciate you guys. It's just the travel community will always be my number one. You're my number one. Okay. And you will see me more regularly. And that's part of this thing I'm doing. It's more regular commitment and life, I'll tell you what, you would just, I appreciate you. All right. I'm going to say goodbye for now. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. It's going to be quite a little ride, I think. All right. Thank you.